opinions expressed on the following sponsored program are strictly those of the host, guests, and callers, and not necessarily those of the station, its staff, management, or sponsors.
Turn that light on off that side, Damon.
Welcome to TrentoVision, where bad ideas get pulverized and the truth will set you
Wow, what a
free.
difference.
TrentoVision is hosted by Tom Trento.
Oh, just lost it.
561-319-5533 or Tom at TrentoVision.tv. Listen and watch every weekday from 3 to 6 p.m. on AM 1470 WNN and TrentoVision.tv. Now, let's get a peek at Tom's view of the world.
Oh, that camera's off too. Hello, everybody. Tom Trento here once again on a beautiful, it's always beautiful down here in Florida, a beautiful Monday morning, the 25th of March. That's one day before the 26th of March and one day after the 24th of March. Good to be here for sure. And we're going to fix that camera a little bit, so don't go to a two-shot. Stay right there. And we have a rip-roaring, ooh, I'm sliding over the place. Sliding on the ice. It was a rip-roaring show for you. We are continually tweaking, making things better all the time. Today we have, we're going to deepen our dive into this conspiracy against Pamela Geller, the writer, a Jewish woman writer, activist, counter-jihad activist. Probably that's the best way to describe Pamela Geller. And the reason why we're spending time on this, we've discovered some more information you need to know. We're going to modify some of what we said last week a little bit. And we're going to show you an interesting red-green connection going on in the United States today. Red being the hard left, the ideological Marxist kind of thinking. Yes, there are still Marxists in operation here in the United States of America, joining with the green folks. Green is the color for Islam. So we have a red-green collusion. Nailed, dead, on the spot.
Yes,
caught.
we do.
Emails,
Yes, we do.
got them. Collusion, conspiracy. When two people work together to do something, it's a conspiracy. Is it a violation of the law? Probably not. Is it a violation of common sense? Yeah. Is it a violation of someone's right to speak freely at a synagogue, a Jewish woman, and exercise their First Amendment right? Of course it is. But it's part of the game. So we bust up these games. We do investigations to devastate and pulverize these ideologies and these folks that are connected to it, to expose them, reveal them. So for the next hour or so, we're going to go very deeply into the Islamic Center of Long Island, into Mr. Habeeb Ahmed, Farouk Khan, the uncle of Daisy Khan. We're going to go into Claire DeRoche a bit and her UUCR organizations, and we'll tell you all about this. And then in the last hour, we're going to do a little trip around the world to get you up to speed on a lot of stuff that's out there. But we've had a wonderful weekend, and it's beginning of the Passover for our Jewish friends. And one of them is my co-host, CJ. Let's go to CJ. Let's cut a two-shot to CJ. There's CJ.
Hi, I'm not CJ. JC. I'm JC.
Oh, JC. J. Mark Campbell. You need a J there.
Yeah, I know.
Or as Imam Abdullah likes to call you,
the fat CJ.
Fat CJ. I did speak with CJ. Oh, I'm going to send you this right now.
What's that?
No, not you. Send anyway. To our guys behind the board. Mark is on, J. Mark Campbell's on this side of the camera. It's typically on that side of the camera. And he has trained up a couple of chimpanzees, and they are just rocking and rolling.
Monkey 1
man.
and Monkey 2.
Yeah.
They'll teach you to call me Fat CJ.
We are. Things are flying at us. No, they do have a sort of capuchin kind of look to them, both of them, I guess, over there. But it's good to be here. Had a very interesting weekend. I'll tell you about mine, Mark. Probably, when was it? Saturday night. Went to The movies. I went to the movies.
You did? Which movie did you go see?
I went to see a documentary. I got notified just maybe Wednesday or Thursday, and I said, Murph the Protector. Was this Murph the Surf?
What is it?
From the 60s or 70s or wherever that jewel thief was. And I looked, and it was about Michael Murphy, a SEAL, former SEAL,
right,
deceased SEAL, who gave his life in Operation Red Wings, a historically horrendous special operations event. Who's that? Is that me here?
That was me.
Special operations event that occurred in 2005 in Afghanistan. And went to look at the movie, and it was a very, very moving movie. Documentary, a lot of talking heads, the parents and friends talking about Michael Murphy's life, but from a young age forward, and he wasn't a very big guy; he was kind of a slight guy, but from a young age forward, as a little kid.
Was he bigger than me?
No. He was my size, a little bigger than me.
Oh, so tiny little thing.
A tiny little guy. Yeah. Packed a wallop though, like me. And he was always protecting the underdog. He would always take the side of the underdog. As a little kid in school, and he got the name Murph the Protector from like 5 years old, and that's the name of the movie, Murph the Protector, because it tells of his exploits on a hillside in Afghanistan when everything went bad. And if it's out there, folks, you should go see it.
Is that the guy who got the Medal of Honor?
Yeah, he was awarded posthumously a couple of years later, 2007, by George Bush, which is a fascinating story. He was awarded the Medal of Honor for what he did. And it's bizarre because they were inserted, they fast roped down 4 of them. And one of his team, there were 4 of them.
Right.
One of them was Marcus Luttrell, who wrote a book, Lone Survivor. Because of this whole mess, he was the only survivor, and I know there is a movie in the making about his story.
Yeah.
What they did is they fast roped in. There was a very bad group of Taliban, and they were on reconnaissance and investigation. They weren't to make contact with the enemy. They were just to scope and sight everything out. And almost immediately after they deployed out of the helicopter, fast roped down, they were discovered in a hiding place by 3 or 4 goat herders.
Okay.
Guys walking their goats came upon them. So the SEALs immediately took control of the situation and then had a very interesting ethical decision to make.
Shoot them or go on, huh?
Kill them so that they can't talk and reveal the location of the 4 SEALs, or let them go. And one of the guys of the 4, one said, I don't want to vote, man. I just don't want to do this.
Right.
One of them said, kill him. And Michael Murphy said, I'm going to go with whatever Marcus Luttrell says. And Luttrell said, no, we got to let him go. So they let him go. And they knew now that they got to get out of Dodge. They got to go hide.
Right.
But it was too late. The goat herders most likely went right to the Taliban, told them where they were, and they were attacked by about 100 Taliban fighters. And they held them off for a while, and they had to call in help. And Michael Murphy goes to a point of complete exposure to work a iridium phone. They couldn't get a signal in the little valley they were in, so he runs out into the open.
And it's a direct line of sight type of thing.
Yeah, makes the call. This goes from bad to worse. Makes the call, and a quick reaction force is deployed. 16 special operators, 8 SEALs, 8 other division operators, and Michael Murphy's killed. And 2 of the other guys are killed, and Marcus Luttrell is blown up. This is a well-known story. I'm not giving anything away. Marcus Luttrell is blown up and eventually found by Afghani tribesmen who felt it was the Afghani culture to take care of him.
Right.
So they take him into the home.
And once you have a guest inside your house in the Afghan culture, you have to protect them.
Yeah, and eventually they handed them over to the. That's how we know a lot of this. But when the quick reaction force came in, 16 guys in a Huey, gets hit by an RPG, crashes, all 16 dead. So out of 20 of America's top tier fighters, 19 died in one day in 2005. Now that was only surpassed infamously by Extortion 17, where Aaron Vaughn and all the other SEALs went down. So not a fun movie to watch, but one of these movies that are very inspiring. And for those of us in this battle, the ideological battle against the jihad, whereas they were fighting the physical battle against the jihad, you see guys that made those kind of sacrifices, and the little crazy sacrifices we make are nothing compared to that, obviously. So it's pretty good. How was your weekend?
Long. I'm moving. And so...
Hey, where you going?
Place I've always wanted to go to, near a beach.
Oh, near a beach.
That's right.
Oh, near a beach? A biatch?
A beach.
Oh, beach. Okay, because we can probably... you should be on him there,
okay.
Mike. Well,
but
adjusting my mic.
Did a lot of packing, did a lot of cleaning, and watch a little NCAA.
Well, I heard Florida Gulf Coast.
That's a fun team. First top 15 team, first 15th seed to make it into the Sweet 16.
Yeah, because
and they're playing Florida.
Because they're over there in Jihad Central, Fort Myers, full of jihadis.
Yeah, but they got a good little school. It's it should be a good matchup between Florida and the Gulf Coast team. So I'm looking forward to that.
Florida Gators?
Yeah, Florida Gators.
Oh, I'm not really following it. I was
obviously not, Tom.
No, I wasn't really following it.
Yeah, you really look like you're paying attention.
Just really grabbed your interest on that one. No,
this is the
so tell me about your weekend. I'll see you later.
This is the chit chat before your appearance.
So you said we had an update though on the.
Yeah, we're ready to rock and roll on these guys. Why do I have two of them? Don't do anything yet.
Okay.
No, Mike. Miguel.
Don't do anything yet. What?
So.
Okay. So
I'm waiting on you.
So
is the rest of the listening world.
The rest of the world. All right. Well, like I said, we have some investigation into the Pamela Geller conspiracy, and just by way of quick review, I'm playing around with this mic here. It sounds good here, but when on the replay it sounded too loud. So I'm going to stay back a little bit and test it. By way of quick review, let's go to my screen on the IRGC ABCD.
Net one.
Gotta grab it.
Yep.
Gotta grab it.
There you had it. You had it. There it is.
Okay, there we go. Now we're cooking with gasoline. What we do, folks, for those of you that are new, just tuning in, and we have everybody, Tea Party and all those guys.
Yep.
Hello, Tea Party.
Everybody's rocking and rolling.
Come back
today.
to the two of us for a second while we say hello. Hi, Tea Party community, and
Wave fat CJ.
hi, Tea Party community. 120,000 folks there, 120,000 strong
Is
and
that what
growing.
it's up to now?
If you want to get some insight into how the Muslim Brotherhood works, now is everybody we mentioned today a card-carrying member of the Muslim Brotherhood? No. Is the Muslim Brotherhood one of the most influential and effective influence operations? Do they conduct some of the most influential and effective influence operations on the face of the earth? Yes. Typically, someone who's in the Muslim Brotherhood, particularly a leadership position, highly intelligent Arabic-speaking, Arabic nation, typically Egypt. That's where the Brotherhood comes out of, 1928. Multiple degrees. Education is a badge of honor for the Muslim Brotherhood leaders.
Right.
They will study in Europe, and they will come to the United States. As did who? in USC, University
Mr.
of
Morsi?
Mr. Morsi.
Yeah, Mr. Morsi.
I didn't know if you were referring to the other guy, which was just went to Syria.
Yeah, the Hito.
Hito.
Yeah, well,
Not a good weekend for Mr. Hito.
not a good weekend for Mr. Hito.
Now, to explain what you're talking about, the most influential operations, and you have to think about this. If you're over in Egypt and you say, we're wanting to implement the Muslim Brotherhood over here in Egypt, the most centered part of the Muslim Brotherhood for the entire world, and you're the Muslim Brotherhood guy over there, you're Ahmed, and I'm Youssef, and I say, hey, Ahmed.
Yes, Youssef.
We need a new leader for the Muslim Brotherhood in Egypt. Where should we go get him from?
Oh, I don't know. You have any ideas?
Yeah, let's go over to the United States and grab a person over there. Now, you have to stop and think about that. Once they made that decision...
Oh, you're talking about Hito in Syria.
Well, and also with Morsi.
With Morsi. Oh, yeah, of course.
I mean, the parallels are the same. Why are they coming to America to grab Muslim Brotherhood leaders to lead countries overseas?
It has nothing to do with Muslim Brotherhood infiltration into our government.
But yeah,
Nothing at all. to do with
Nothing
that.
at all.
and if me and you were talking together, Ahmed, I come to you and say, hey, look at this way. We get a person from America because once we bring them in and make them head of our government, they have connections and ties all the way up to the White House.
White House. Woo! White House.
And honestly, it doesn't matter which side, if it's Democrat or Republican, it comes from.
Grover.
Okay.
But
Yeah,
and think about
Grover-
this way:
Grover
why would they
Norquist,
want to bring a person from the Muslim Brotherhood trained over there into the center of power in their government from the United States?
To have the U.S. relationships.
Well, not just a
or
relationship.
the open pocketbook.
Well, where are all the weapons coming from?
Right.
I mean, we're getting they get
Abrams tanks,
F-16s,
F-16s.
F-16s. You look over in Syria.
$500 million.
You look over in Syria. They get them. They're getting arms over there from Syria.
Via Libya.
But
Chris Stevens.
But you look at it this way. No,
John Brennan.
That's the reason they're cherry picking all these people in the United States to lead these countries over there, and they're as radical can be. You know.
Well, plus once you get a Muslim brother in the United States, and these are just the ones we're seeing because they're so high profile.
Bassam.
Do you know how many mid-range brothers are coming out of the United States
Right.
and going into these countries to provide leadership and communication back to the United States with the protection of the White House? And what do I mean by that? I mean Mr. Hito, who was in Texas for all these years, left his website. We checked his website, and they had shut his website down, scrubbing it. But any sort of problems, you got at least 6 Muslim Brotherhood operatives with access on a daily basis to the president, friends with the president, and they are running interference for all the brothers that are now being inserted around the world in the Islamic Jihad. The brothers believe this is their manifest destiny. This is their moment.
Right.
And Mike showed me on the news a little while ago. He goes, Mohammed Morsi's cracking heads in Egypt. You know, the 25-year-old freedom-loving Google kids are starting to throw...
What happened? What happened?
Throwing Molotov cocktails and all upset. And Morsi's cracking down. Do you think the brothers have waited since 1928? What's that? Almost 80 years or so?
85 years.
Yeah, 85 years.
Oh,
Almost
they're very
90 years.
patient.
You think they waited almost 90 years for a couple of snot-nosed 25-year-old freedom-loving kids to derail the implementation of the caliphate in the world? They're dead. The brothers are going to roll right over these guys, and all the deals have been cut. All right, let's move ahead.
And do you really think they care which party they align with in America?
Yeah, it's the Party of Freedom and Peace Party.
Right.
Which is the Muslim
Freedom
Brotherhood.
and justice. Freedom and justice.
Freedom and justice. Well, we need peace in there, too. All right, so go back to my screen, Mike. Here's what we're doing today on TrentoVision.tv. If you're watching us, folks, TrentoVision.tv. If you're listening to us, you are on WNN Radio, WNN 1470, broadcasting out of Boca Raton, Florida. You could be on iHeartRadio, and you should be if you're not near a radio or a computer. If you're by a computer or smartphone, you're not operating heavy machinery, tune us in. We're going to show you all kinds of stuff today. So our objective today is to investigate and devastate, okay? By investigating properly, you devastate movements that are anti-American, anti-Jewish, anti-First Amendment. We believe this movement, this conspiracy to deprive an individual of her First Amendment right to speak freely at an event, a public event, on private property,
Right.
is something that needs to be devastated, broken up, disrupted, and the sunshine, the disinfectant of exposure. Sunshine's the best disinfectant. We got big lights in here. We're metaphorically shining them on these folks today. That's what we're doing for the next couple of hours. So sit down, relax. You'll see how we connect the dots. Number one, go to the screen, Muslim terrorism investigation. We send out an email every day. We got a picture of the Islamic Center of Long Island. Oh,
Beautiful place.
yes. I got a great, let me see if I can pull this up here. I'll show you in a second when we go somewhere else. Mort put our friend Mortzar put a very interesting photo together because as we laid out the information of this investigation into Muslim terrorist connections, we're launching what we call a public investigation. You can see that on the screen. TrentoVision United West launches a public investigation into the terrorist ties of the Geller conspirators. A lot of words there.
We call them the Geller 7.
The Geller 7. I think there's a few others. On Friday, March 22nd, TrentoVision published a series of emails written by leftist Muslim jihadis. The leftists are the red part of the red-green equation. And the Muslim jihadi simply is they feel they are in a holy war, and they are using the cultural tools to change and bring Sharia into America. And if their lips say, no, we're not, they're lying, folks. If they're a serious Muslim, if they have Sharia-compliant beards or zabitas, a little prayer bump, or if they're following the Sharia, they want the Sharia to be the law of the land. They have to. That's a mandate from Allah. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. Their lips can lie, but their heart is Sharia. And we know this, so we're saying...
Takia.
Well, yeah, the lying is, there's a term in
For the betterment,
Islam.
lying for the betterment of Islam.
Yeah, it's called taqiyya. And there is no, as a Christian, there is no doctrine in Christianity that says, Tom, to advance the cause of Jesus Christ, you can lie to people as much as you want. It's bizarre.
No, it's a bizarre concept.
It is a bizarre concept.
I know of no other religion or faith that says, no, you can lie about our faith to,
Well, the reason being is it's not a religion primarily, Islam. It's a political construct. It's a political system. Now, can you lie to advance the causes of America in wartime or something? There's a lot of debates about that. What?
Nixon did.
Well, yeah. Well, there's a lot of debates about that in terms of ethicists, which was where I did a lot of my work.
But he wasn't using religious doctrine.
No, of course not.
Using military doctrine. Military doctrine, it's okay to do it.
Yeah, but
But Islam's a military doctrine.
yes, so that's where
it is okay then.
It is okay to lie. Yes,
Why are
yes,
you
yes,
complaining? You just said it is okay.
Yes, it's okay because you are a military doctrine system,
Absolutely.
political system, supremacist. All right, back to my screen. We published these emails headed up by Mr. Habeeb Ahmed, designed to stop Geller from speaking at the Great Neck Synagogue. Since Friday, folks, we discovered an unbelievable rat's nest. Mortzart did a beautiful little rat, right, with Habeeb's name on it. I got to pull it up later.
Abdul, do you have that?
No,
I
that is in his private stash
yes, it's in my rat's nest.
with the Gurkhas.
An unbelievable rat's nest of people related to the Islamic Center of Long Island. So the rat's nest, in terms of the conspirators, is the Islamic Center of Long Island. And there are aggressive Jew haters connected to the Islamic Center of Long Island. and diehard supporters of Muslim terrorists, kinetic terrorists. Some of these terrorists are now dead, like Anwar al-Awlaki, or in prison due to convictions for committing acts of terrorism against the United States of America. Now, you can go to some of their writings and say, oh, we deplore terrorism, but we understand how to pull the veil back, as we will as we get through the show here. Whereas the leftists and jihadis originally were conspiring to derive, I'm reading from our email, Ms. Geller of her First Amendment right, now these apparent conspirators, and it looks like all of them are involved. If all of them aren't, then they need to start ratting each other out and flipping on each other and saying, Habeeb, I got nothing to do with this. You put my name. And it's possible, folks, that someone's name on these emails that follow was put there inadvertently. So we allow for that as we go into all of their lives here. We don't think that's the case because they're all leaders in various rights, but it's possible. So they need to come clean and say, we got nothing to do with Habeeb's efforts to stop Pamela Geller. We think she's wonderful, or we don't like her, but we don't want to suppress somebody's First Amendment rights. We haven't heard any of that yet. We lay out and the folks we're taking a look at are Bob Nuxall, Dolores Tibbetts. I'm putting this on the record. Elaine Peter, Farouk Khan, Habeeb Ahmed, Hank Arond, not Hank Aaron. He had nothing to do with this. Mark Lukin, Marty Melconia, Paul Auerbach, Claire DeRoche, Tom Goodhue, Jay Keller, and Beth Lilac. Beth Lilac runs a Holocaust and peace and tolerance organization. I don't know what the heck she's doing with all these people. We ask these questions.
She's playing the role of George Soros, feeding Jews to the Nazis.
Could be. Well, or they put her name on there inadvertently. Not inadvertently, but she doesn't want anything to do with this. We don't know. We're allowing for that as we conduct our public investigation. Have any of these people supported Muslim terrorism? And when you start going through this, you see 1 or 2 degrees of separation from direct support of Muslim terrorists from some of them. When will any of these people condemn Mr. Habeeb Ahmed and Claire DeRoche's conspiracy against Geller? What is the relationship of the Unitarian Universalists for Justice in the Middle East to the Islamic Center of Long Island? We want to know that. How are the Unitarian Universalists for Justice in the Middle East related to the Hamas? We see some interesting ties there. Who funds the Interfaith Alliance of Long Island? Who the heck are those folks, and who's paying for that? Are any of the conspirators involved with any Muslim brothers who now advise President Obama? We think we can make some connections. What was the relationship of any conspirator to the dead terrorist Anwar al-Awlaki? And how the hell can Mr. Habeeb Ahmed be allowed on the Nassau County Human Rights Commission once you start digging through Mr. Habeeb's life? How did the Holocaust Memorial and Tolerance Center of Nassau get mixed up with these jihadis? And what influence does Daisy Khan and Imam Faisal Rauf have with the Islamic Center of Long Island? And you'll see they have a lot of influence. So the action step for our organization, the United West, and by association, TrentoVision, the action step in terms of our activism is you can help us do this public investigation. If anybody out there has any information, which is public source, or intelligence, information that may not be public, but you know about it, of any of these Geller conspirators, send it to, just click on that little TrentoVision link, and you could email it to us. So you can help by helping us investigate. We do not have the resources of the United States government. We're a tiny little group of just guys and gals trying to save America, save Israel, fight the bad guys. Watch our Friday Jihad show, where somebody said Mark looks like John Voight's brother in that picture with your new hairdo. Watch our Friday show to get a context for this. Then read these emails that expose these Geller, back to my page, Mike. Read these emails that expose the Geller conspirators. On the left is Mr. Habeeb Ahmed, on the right, Claire DeRoche. These seem to be the leaders of the conspiracy. And then we laid out their emails. Did you have a chance to go through them again?
The email?
Yeah.
No, I did not.
Did you? You want to send this? You as you?
The 7 emails?
Yes.
Oh, you want me to read them?
No. Just sum them up. Just.
Oh,
give
sum
them
them
a-
up. It's absolutely a conspiracy
Right.
to keep Pam Geller from speaking at the Great Neck Synagogue.
Right.
It was
Oh,
Habeeb.
well, let's be fair. A conspiracy. There's a conspiracy that violates the law.
multiple people.
Well, it violates the law. So if you're conspiring to do something illegal, you've broken the law. I don't see them conspiring to do anything illegal at this
Well,
point.
it's a violation of your rights to the freedom of speech. They're trying to prevent someone's freedom of speech.
Yeah, well, they have the freedom of speech to do this. I'm arguing their side.
Well, ethically, though, see, you're talking about technically letter of the law,
Well,
illegal.
when we use the word conspiracy, are we using it in a legal sense that they violated the law?
To suppress someone's right to free speech? Yes,
I don't think so, but go ahead.
Okay.
I do.
Well, what's perfectly clear
technically,
is
whether they ever be convicted of it, no. But what I'm trying, yes, I mean, technically, they are trying to stop someone's ability to speak freely at a public place.
But that's not a violation of the law. We do that all the time, and we interfere with some of these things. How's that a violation of the law?
What would they be convicted upon? That's what I'm saying.
Well,
You'd
what
never
would be the
convicted of
charge?
it.
I mean, what would be, because, I mean, we have spoken against Siraj Wahaj, a co-conspirator speaking at University of, any university, that why do you have a guy like that who's a terrorist there? We know you can do it, but why do you do it? And why don't you condemn him? We've done that a million times. Have we violated the law?
No, absolutely not.
No, but when they're trying to prevent someone from actually going there.
And we do it publicly. I mean, we'll get out there in public.
Right, this was
Let's say,
completely
how do-
behind the scenes. What they tried to do is instead of take this out into the public, is they tried to have her stopped before it ever even got out that they were trying to stop her. They wanted to basically try and, to use a Michelle Obama term, to shame, or I'm sorry, Hillary Clinton quote.
Hillary.
They wanted to shame the Great Neck Synagogue into not hosting Pamela Geller speak to their men's club. And I mean, it's very clear from the emails between Habeeb Ahmed, Claire DeRoche, Tom Goodhue, Mark Lukens, that none of them want her to have the right to speak. They don't want to debate her. They want to keep her, they want to keep people stupid is what they want to do. They don't want to
They
have
want to
a
keep them as
debate.
low information.
Low information voter.
Yeah, they want to keep everyone a low information voter because then they get to steamroll their policies over us, and by the time they're done, it's too late.
But here's where the criminal activity would come into play when they do this repeatedly, and maybe not in this instance because it's not a public institution like per se a university, but if they actually go and collude with the university to prevent someone from speaking, now you're talking, and now you're going into the grounds of actually something criminal could be done.
Also, you have to realize that Habeeb Ahmed is sending these emails back and forth with his title of Human Rights Commission from the Nassau County, New York.
I forgot all about that.
So it's not like just schmuck me sending it to
No,
you
once-
with an
once
opinion.
he-
Once you put that public title on it,
Now you have a collusion with government trying to prevent someone's free speech via a government
you're bringing
entity.
in Interfaith Alliance, you're bringing in Human Rights Commission, you're bringing in the UUCSR, which is a Unitarian Universalist Church of Shelter Rock, which also has to do with the Interfaith Alliance. It's a basically it's a gang up conspiracy. Shut Pam Geller up because we don't like what she's saying.
Yeah.
In a nutshell.
There's obviously no question about that. That's why we're
But the legality is what he's
showing-
talking about.
I'm not an attorney,
Yeah.
but it sounds
Well,
like they're
well-
stifling her First Amendment rights.
And you can do that. I mean, you can stifle somebody's First Amendment rights.
I can shut you up for no day.
And our expose of them doing that shows the hypocrisy and the smallness of them. And more so when you look at the organizations that they work with.
Right.
I mean, and we're going to do that right now. We're going to show we're for the freedom of wonder and love for everyone, and everyone's wonderful. And then they go around and do this. They're lying, no good hypocrites.
Well, the criminal activity.
We're consistent, at least.
The criminal activity, I think, which comes to play, and Damon brought up the very excellent point, was this guy who they're colluding with is a representative of the government sitting on a human rights council. That's where the collusion and the denial of freedom of speech being perpetrated
Yeah,
by
I still don't know if there's a violation of the law. It may be a violation of... He may be violating.
That's what I'm saying.
Well, no, he may be violating the law.
Well, he's most certainly a hypocrite. If you see some of the people that he's allowed
Right.
at his congregation, makes Pamela Geller.
Well, yeah, and these are, I think you told us, Mark, these are phony baloney human rights things anyway.
Oh, yeah,
the way
they're
they
totally
point
phony.
them.
Yeah.
So...
And here's the other interesting, with this cabal of 7, and we brought this up last week, but I think it's worth mentioning once again, is that these 7 people are the ones who are controlling public opinion throughout the country. And it's like, because they're making this happen in New York, the second largest state in the union, and pushing their closed-minded, deny people the right to speak views, and making them look like haters, and with the
Media capital of the world. It's
the media
emanating
capital
from the media capital of the world.
And so it's, and I have to keep reiterating this is only 7 people who are doing this, and they're colluding, and they're trying to make themselves look like they are this million outraged
if you
people
saw
march.
the operating budget of the Interfaith Alliance,
Right.
it makes us look well-funded.
Yeah. No,
To give you an idea
I
of
get
how
that.
small amount of these people are creating the image that you're talking about.
Right.
It's absolutely amazing that
No, it really
just a
is.
handful of people with
It's
no
all-
money and no backing can get this opinion out there.
Well, there's 13. I just counted them. There's actually 13
it's
people.
still less than.
It's 7 emails, 13 people.
I mean,
7 emails.
I mean, but if you would imagine that, who's driving behind all this? Oh, there's these 10,000
Of course,
million
yeah.
people behind it, and it's never the case.
No, and I think our objective, for the sake of this public investigation, is to expose these people who are
Little weasels is what they are.
yeah, they present themselves as upstanding citizens, as protectors of human rights, all of that. He's on a human rights commission, and he's violating the right of a human, Pamela Geller. That's where.
Well, I got a question for you.
That's where our
what
stuff
the heck's,
is going.
What the heck's Muslim and human rights? Aren't those incongruent terms?
No.
Oh, you are a bad man.
Yes.
I mean, you
Very
look at it.
bad
The
man.
Sharia is totally against everything human rights
The
affiliated.
Sharia is human
No,
rights.
That's right. That's
Yes,
right.
man.
They're against.
Mr.
what we-
Trento, where do you find the fat CJ to speak like this?
the Sharia is against what we understand, the West understands as human rights. For instance,
I mean, go down the list. Gays.
does a woman have a right to
Drive?
to drive? No, of course not. 50% is a woman entitled to 50% of a divorce settlement. Not in Islam, of course not.
I mean, who are the? I mean, Islam is a purveyor of human rights in the world.
Well,
Give me a break.
I know. It's so stupid.
It's
Well, Syria sits on the Human Rights Council, don't they?
yeah, I know. And you look. Oh, that's
So did Gaddafi too.
Yeah,
So did
Gaddafi.
Iran, didn't they?
Yeah, Gaddafi was the head of the UN Humanitarian Women's Council, wasn't it? It was some ridiculous thing like that. Human Rights Women's
And
Council.
the United States and Israel are great human rights violators. Didn't you know that?
All right, well, let's go
drives me
to
crazy.
let's get into the meat of the issue
Yes,
here. At 41
let's.
minutes past 3 o'clock, Tom Trento, TrentoVision.tv. Hello to the Tea Party folks. Hello to TrentoVision folks. Hello to WNN folks. We want you watching every day 3 to 6. Though, starting 1 week from today, you only have to watch 5 to 6 because we will be on 1 hour. It'll be a complete television show. Right now, we simulcast a radio show on the internet.
Thanks for the graphic.
Starting next week, we'll be simulcasting a television show on the radio.
Very
And,
confusing.
We're very
Very
sensitive. We're very sensitive to our radio folks, so you will never miss a beat. That's 1 week from today, April 1st. Are we kidding, or is it Memorex? We don't know. You'll see. But right now, we're going to dive into our specifics. If you can come to my screen, Mike, please. Okay, public investigation. What do we mean when we say public investigation? we have found, the United West, TrentoVision, our friends and coalition members in the counter-jihad movement, that this is the last part of the Bush administration, 2004 to 2008, became sanitized. How about Saudiized?
No, it totally didn't.
The last four Saudiized.
Oh yes.
Yeah, the last 4 years. The last 4 years of the Bush administration were Saudiized,
Right.
influenced quite a bit by the Saudis, and they were there on 9/11. We know that, that's well documented. But George Bush's policy towards the Middle East started diverging into this coin concept, all of that. Barack Obama comes along, and we find out that he takes George Bush's movement in a pro-Arabic, pro-Saudi, pro-brotherhood direction and expands
Just those
upon it.
fuel on the fire. Oh man, you're talking a nuclear bomb on the fire.
Yeah, really went aggressively. And then we see situations like 2009, Fort Hood, where Major Nadal Hassan, who's still floating around, shoots all those people into workplace violence. Everyone who watches this show, and most people in America, are familiar with these absurd concepts. And then we found that this administration, particularly with KSM, Khalid Sheikh Mohammed, wanted to get away from the military concept of jurisprudence and move him from Guantanamo, December 2009, move him to Lower Manhattan to try him in the civil court, where he gets constitutional protections by coming on America. So we have been, our movement, counter-jihad movement, fighting extensively this administration in terms of investigating Muslim jihadis. And we know for a fact, because the field operators of the various enforcement agencies and intelligence agencies are great guys doing a phenomenal job. But the DOJ blocks a lot of the serious investigations. We've seen this in New York with Pete King, who pops up with the Great Neck Synagogue and the Long Island Islamic Center. They don't like Pete King, Congressman Pete King. So through the years, we said, you know what, we got to investigate this stuff ourselves. We got to do public investigations. We just got to throw it all out there, use all the tools that the public has, through from Google to whatever you got, to find out who these people are, who subjects of an investigation are, and then we have pretty good capabilities to kind of connect the dots. So we're launching a public investigation into this conspiracy. And what is that? It's a legal investigation of public figures. Legal investigation. We're not doing anything illegal.
Right.
A legal investigation of public figures. Mike, you got to have this screen up. A legal investigation of public figures who conspired to deprive Pamela Geller of her First Amendment right to speak at the Great Neck Synagogue.
And they're completely busted on it.
Oh, yeah.
The emails just really just show who they are.
And the next slide says, and for you drivers out there, I'm reading what the slide says. For those at home, you can see what it says. Investigate, devastate, that's our approach to things. A little different than maybe the politically correct Justice Department. Mm-hmm. But when we investigate something we feel is wrong, we want to devastate that idea or that movement or whatever it is. We're at war, folks. And last time, I don't know when was the last time you looked, but the Islamic jihadis have declared war on the United States of America. But for the TSA, but for some very brave people, the thin blue line of police in the United States of America, the men and women who are in theater fighting, but for these folks, if all Americans laid down their guns like Bloomberg and all these other nitwits want, this country would be, you know what would happen? If all the people in authority who carry guns laid their guns down, what do you think the bad guys would do? How long would it take for the bad guys to take over this country? Anybody know?
5-6 minutes?
Yeah, maybe. But I think there'd be a lot of boys from Alabama and Montana and other places that said, not so fast, Mr. Bad Guys. But there'd be chaos all over the place if if obviously those who are trying to protect us stopped doing that on a daily basis. Why? Because from Osama bin Laden back in 1996 declaring war the first time, to Mohammed Badi, the supreme guide of the Muslim Brotherhood in October 2010, declaring war. The supreme guide of the Muslim Brotherhood, October 2010, declared war on the United States and on Israel. We are in a war. The jihad, the Islamic jihad, has been commissioned and mandated to destroy the West. That's simple. Thus, we do what we do here. And if our administration cannot prosecute and implement serious investigations, we'll pick the ball up, we'll do it ourselves, you know? So we've launched this public investigation into these collaborators. And looking at the screen here again, what assets do we have as the United West? We don't have government assets, nothing like that. We're a little private organization. But we do have friends who used to be in law enforcement. We do have friends who used to be in the intelligence community. We do have friends who used to be in the military. And we have a lot of friends in the private sector. And when you do some community organizing with your friends that may have been in some of these organizations, and they have friends in organizations, you can generate some pretty good intelligence. So we're using our assets in a legal way to connect the dots. Next slide. To connect the dots. Now, what is that? What do I mean when I say connect the dots? Here's what we mean. When you, one of the criticisms and the failures of identifying the jihadis, the 19 of them that blew up 3 buildings, 4 attacks, 3 buildings, 2011, 9/11, 2001, was a failure to connect the dots. And everybody says, we'll never let that happen again. But when you start connecting the dots, you get criticized for connecting the dots.
Oh, you can't talk about that association.
No.
Friends are not.
No, but we can, because we are accountable to nobody. Okay, to absolutely nobody at all. We're accountable to ourselves to do the right thing and fight the bad guys. By connecting the dots, we project a hypothesis. We start with a valid hypothesis. Back to the screen. This is how we do our investigation at the United West, TrentoVision. We project and start with a valid hypothesis, and the hypothesis usually includes profiling people. Oh my God, you're not supposed to profile anybody. Well, maybe there's laws against it, or your bad manners, or whatever, if you are a government agency. We're not. We're, like I said, nobody. And so we profile. Our hypothesis, when we look at the Geller conspiracy here, is that there are people the people who are involved are going to be pro-Sharia. They're going to be for the Sharia. They're going to be anti-Jew. Those are some of the fundamental premises.
I like them already.
Thank you, Abdullah. Those are some of the fundamental premises that we have found in doing investigations in a similar manner like we're doing right now. And then we do the research to dig in and see if our hypothesis is proven, or if we got to modify the hypothesis. So that's what we're going to do here.
Well, and to put a highlight on what you're talking about, it's about like if we're going to go and investigate the mafia.
There is no mafia. There is no.
Let's hypothetically said there was.
What's this guy talking about?
If you're going to go look at the Italian mafia.
Oh, it got even worse now. Oh my God, I'm filing a human rights thing. Habeeb, help me out.
But cops do it all the time.
I'm glad you asked. He is very borderline.
Yes, he is. He is. Okay.
If we go look at
Don't say Sicilian.
The white Sicilian mafia.
Oh my God, what are you doing to me? Now I know what these guys feel like when you discriminate against them. Oh, man.
These men are too much.
Okay, go ahead.
Cops do it all the time. they say, well, who's Vinny's associations with? Oh, he's an associate.
Derogatory names, Vinny.
Oh, they call him
I got
Vinny.
cousins.
But they
It
do
was
it,
not Jamarcus, no?
and Vinny's hanging out with Tony the Blade. Okay, hey, and he's good friends with him. He sees him at the,
The social club.
the social club every night. And you're going to put an association.
Never been to a social club.
And the people at the social club are hanging out with the leftists at the Jewish Center. They're like,
Connecting the dots.
and that's the way you do it. And there's nothing
Pretty
new.
soon, there's no garbage pickup anymore in your town.
And then pretty soon, it goes all the way back to the mayor, and you're seeing all these connections going all the way through. That's exactly what we do.
But in real life, we do it in real life stuff.
But we do it in real life
We
stuff.
don't do TV stuff. That's what he's talking TV stuff.
Yeah, all that mafia that's not there. That's what we
I
do.
might
I
come
am
back
not
to
a
my
real
screen.
jihadist. I play one on the radio.
All right, so what Mark just described is exactly what we're doing. We're connecting the dots, throw out a hypothesis, valid, profile, stick some premises in the hypothesis, do the investigation, and if our assumptions are correct, all the dots will be connected, or switching the metaphor, the
If
pieces.
it walks
will
like a
fit
duck,
together.
it talks like a duck, it quacks like a
And-
duck. It's a jihadi duck.
And jumping ahead, we're gonna say that at the end of our, and this will take a week or two, this investigation. We launched it today. At the end of the investigation, we're going to conclude these 13 people, 6 of them are absolutely pro-Sharia, anti-Jew hating people. They're connected to these organizations. There's a very deep conspiracy against the freedoms of Americans, free speech issues. They're tied into the OIC. They're tied into the United Nations Cairo Declaration. Here we are. That's where we think we're going. And we're going to move in that direction through our investigation. Here's the subjects, some of the subjects of the initiation of our investigation. Mr. Habeeb Ahmed, Ms. Claire DeRoche, the Islamic Center of Long Island, the Interfaith Alliance of Long Island, then the Unitarian Universalists for Justice in the Middle East. Those are some of the people and places we're going to look at today, and we're going to give you kind of a good overview on these folks. You are going to be surprised when you start to see this person's on a board over here, who's related to this person over here, who works over here, who delivers stuff to Gaza. A lot of this stuff is going right to the Hamas, and
they hang out at the social club with Tony the Knife.
yeah, that's all with Ahmed Mohammed. All right, but right now we got to take a little break. Because back at WNN, we're in the bunker, miles and miles and miles away, back at WNN. They've got to tell you about the news. They've got to sell a few items. They've got to do a few things. And we're going to go get a drink of water. See you in a few minutes.
Okay.
So let me hear you say that I'm a criminal of war. Come on, little punk, that's what you came here for. Take a photo, you can send it if it's necessary. Should I make an expression that is really scary? Bigger than you, we're here and disappeared. Not to mention smarter, but that's no big deal. So deceived and naive, whatever you achieve, as much as you lie, you're dust on my sleeve. For 4,000 years, this country's been mine. That's before your great-grandmother wore diapers and wine. Open the book, it's not a big mystery. Though I'm sure you failed the test in history. When force is not an option, you refer to scam. But frankly, you buck, I don't give a damn of your ignorant opinion or what you think about me. I'm an Israeli soldier, proud to be. אני חי מיום ליום, לא הולך לשום מקום. יום עובר ועוד יום בא, ושום דבר לא השתנה. השעון לא נעצר, עוד מעט יבוא מחר. רק המנגינה חוזרת, אין לי ארץ אחרת. Let me tell you what can condemn the 10 plagues. I think Moses should be brought to their Hague. Let my people go. Declaration full of vanity, boils and hail. Now that's a crime against humanity. The name of this place, Judea, rings a bell. Shut down your camera and operate your cells. 2 + 2, I know it's hard for you to beat, so exaggerate, manipulate, I don't give a. Shift now back to Samaria, which you call the PA, the place of King David, all the prophets, and hey, Jesus was here. But I hate to break it to you, I heard an awful rumor, they say he was a Jew. So don't let me interrupt you, do the job for what you hired. With your organizations, you really got me tired. The bottom line is, though it's painful to see, I'm an Israeli soldier, proud to be. אני חי מיום ליום, לא הולך לשום מקום. יום עובר ועוד יום בא, ושום דבר לא השתנה. השעון לא נעצר, עוד מעט יבוא מחר. רק המנגינה חוזרת, אין לי ארץ אחרת. I ain't gonna move this time, no use. I've taken enough of your twists and abuse. Every time you come in different forms and disguise. Purity of race, human rights, all your lies. So ride by inside, with me it's fine. Do your little job, I'll keep doing mine. From the mountains of Galilee, from desert to sea, I'm an Israeli soldier, proud to be. אני חי מיום ליום, לא הולך לשום מקום. יום עובר ועוד יום בא, ושום דבר לא השתנה. השעון לא נעצר, עוד מעט יבוא מחר. רק המנגינה חוזרת, אין לי ארץ אחרת.
Now I hear everything. I don't hear the lead-in from NN.
Do you have the computer on? Or
No.
iHeart? It should be on in Skype.
I don't hear it.
That's what I'm saying. Skype might not be on. Check the computer next to you. Mark's managing that.
No, he's trying to dial it right now.
All right.
Mark,
He's in the bathroom.
there's no connection.
That connection? Where?
There is no connection. It's connecting, it says. So
He's connecting. Connecting. I'll call him. We got a connection there too.
And you're not going to hear it. The speakers got wet when the sprinklers went on.
What?
The computer,
Oh, no.
the speakers are shorted out right now.
when
No,
do
I got
when do I know that I'm
some
going on?
I have no idea.
Can you move that Coke can a minute? Just so I can see that clock.
Oh, yeah.
Should I go to iHeart?
It's 4:06.
Go ahead. Let me see.
Are we streaming?
I'm not trying to get hold of Joe.
Yeah.
How did this happen?
Yeah, are we connected? Yeah, go. Go.
Okay, we're connected and we're on, and everything seems to be hunky-dory here on TrentoVision.tv. And if you're watching us on TrentoVision.tv, you can see we had a name correction on the screen. That's me on your left, Tom Trento, and there's, I don't know, Mark, can you read that monitor for me up there?
No, I saw it. Yeah.
That guy.
That's what happens
the
when
guys
you
are so
lose
funny.
control.
They're so funny back there.
R,
That's
R,
what you
R,
did.
R, R, R.
You moved from over there.
Yeah, and I
to
lost all
here.
control. I become talent, and now they're taking advantage of me.
See what happens? That's okay. The foot massages in the breaks are well worth the not being on the other side.
And the limo service too.
Don't be thrown. Oh, almost caught it. Oh, he threw a Constitution. He threw a Constitution.
Hit your head.
The United States Constitution. We don't like the Constitution, right, Abdullah?
Means nothing to me.
No.
You're
It violates. I love
There
that.
you go.
word.
This is their
That is
constitution.
the real Sharia,
That's the
baby.
real constitution right here.
What's your favorite part of that, Abdullah? Abdullah, by the way, for our listening and viewing audience on WNN 1470 at 7 minutes past 4 o'clock on the East Coast. Abdullah is our resident Muslim. He comes from the Islamic Center of Events, not too far down the street, and he's been ordained in Cairo. Oh, you know what? I got a correction on the president when he spoke in June of 2009.
What's your correction, Tom?
Not a correction, but I've heard some very intelligent analysts say he spoke at Al-Azhar.
He didn't speak at Dallas.
And I hear some say he spoke at Cairo University. Carolyn Glick mentioned Al-Azhar, right? I'm going, she should know what's
people from
going
Al-Azhar were there in the front row.
No, it's more than that. President in 2009, June, spoke at Cairo University. His A New Beginning speech is big.
Right.
Apology tour.
The one that the guy wrote, who did
Ben
the map.
Rhodes.
Did the map.
Benjamin Rhodes. But not the Al-Azhar people were there, but why? Al-Azhar sponsored the event.
Oh,
It was an
okay.
Al-Azhar. It was a joint
That's the
Al-Azhar
reason you said
Cairo.
that.
Yes.
Okay.
It was an Al-Azhar event at Cairo. Him going to Al-Azhar would have been a little pushing in the envelope, but to do it at Cairo with Al-Azhar sponsoring it, he was able to get away with that.
And that's
He
the
got away
reason the
with
Muslim Brotherhood was in the front
it.
row.
Exactly. They're reserved
okay.
seats.
Oh, you
And
must
this is
be in the
before-
front row.
And this is all before the Arab Spring happened.
Way before. This was the precedent. This is what started the Arab
These were
Spring.
the seedlings that were planted.
Absolutely.
So this was all. So this whole Arab Spring, in conjunction with the people from Google and everybody else, it's a definite. It was a definite conspiracy to bring.
Cause and effect. Yep. That's an effect of the cause.
And
Absolutely.
And we were saying that about 6 to 8 months ahead of the Arabs, the whole fall of the Egyptian government. Were we not, Tom?
Yes, we were.
And
We're-
when we connected those dots all together for everybody to see, how much static and how
so
much
many
heat did
dots.
we get for that?
we connect so many dots.
But you guys are crazy. You're just haters. Oh,
Islamophobes.
they're not trying to take over the Egyptian government. The Muslim Brotherhood. Oh, you guys just think the Muslim Brotherhood's into everything. You guys just think the Muslim Brotherhood is doing this. Oh, this is just a peaceful revolt by the students. The students are going to take over the government. The students are going to do this, and it's all a little happy. The Muslim Brotherhood took over.
I remember when the Muslim Brotherhood, right after it started, that they were saying they weren't even going to run anyone for president. They'd be happy to get a small percentage of the
nothing
parliament.
to see here. Move on.
Remember, they were not
crazy.
even going to float
No, that's
a
right.
presidential candidate.
That's right, and that's why we need to crank this everything we're doing up in the United States of
Let's
America.
get into the dirty stuff.
Our country is just unraveling before our eyes. We're seeing that, and it's becoming Islamized.
Nothing to see here in Benghazi.
Very quickly.
Move on. There's no connection to Syria. There's nothing going
John
on. There's
Brennan.
no guns being run to Syria. You guys are just no.
And we went from bad to worse, from Hillary to Kerry to from Petraeus to Brennan, from Panetta to Hagel. I mean, where's all this stuff going?
Now, you guys are just making so much of that the Muslim.
But let's do this for a second. In all fairness, looks like Obama hit a grand slam on his trip to Israel. Now we're going to pick up our investigation in a couple of minutes here. This is Tom Trento on TrentoVision, on the TV side, on the radio side, WNN 1470. And before we jump back into our investigation of the Geller conspirators, I got to ask you guys. President looks like he hit a home run in Israel. I mean, the Jews in America are going, oh, he is the Messiah we thought he was.
He loves Israel, I've been telling you.
See? And the Palestinians are hating him. I mean, they're going, this guy, they're actually protesting when he was there, but it wouldn't be seen.
Shoe throwers.
I've read some very negative stuff written by Palestinians against the president. What do you make out of all of this?
Well, I don't understand where the home run comes from. I don't understand how you can totally say that a group that wants to kill another group should have any rights or legitimacy whatsoever. Did the Muslim Brotherhood all of a sudden?
Oh, you're thinking too deeply on this.
Did they?
I'm talking about the soft, smushy kind of.
I'm talking about some real stuff.
stuff.
Did they remove out of the
real
Hamas
stuff.
charter that Israel exists and continue to
Obama
exist?
said that the boss is a peace partner. What don't you understand?
A peace partner, okay, who aligns with the Muslim Brotherhood, who aligns with Hamas, who aligns with terrorists.
Details.
Where is the? Where is? This is definitely low information voter time.
All I know is President Obama said Mahmoud Abbas is a peace partner.
What Obama says and what Obama does are two different things. We've been saying that. We've been showing
You're a
it.
racist.
He's trying to keep an equilibrium for the next 4 years, so Hillary can come in and just continue the same thing. This status quo, nonchalant kind of arrogance against common sense.
It's called tequila. It's called lying
Well,
in the name of your cause. Now, that's legal to do in politics, obviously.
On his way out of Dodge, President Obama, got Prime Minister Netanyahu to go, I'm sorry, Mr. Erdogan. I'm sorry, President Erdogan of Turkey. You know, he apologized. You all heard about that.
He should have made him lick his
Apologize for what,
boots.
Tom?
For the Mavi Marmara.
For the where they stormed the ship and they.
Yes.
And our friend Greta Berlin was aboard.
Yeah. And if we don't get to that in our third hour, we will tomorrow because I got some pretty good stuff on that.
Let's get to the juicy stuff.
He also opened up $500 million to the Palestinians. So he gave them $500 million.
But we can't have White House tours.
500. No White House
the
tours.
back.
Palestinian house tours. $500 million. I got some devastating news on North Korea. They have, Mark Langfan, our good friend, and the son of Bill Langfan. Bill Langfan's video is going nuts. I think it was instrumental in putting pressure on the White House and others to not push the land for peace argument, because you got somebody like Bill Langfan out there will before the end of the week. A lot of our Jewish friends are not with us today and tomorrow. Why?
Right.
Pesach.
And what is that, Schmutzy?
Passover, you goyim.
And what is, in 2 sentences to the Goyim, to the non-Jew, what is Passover?
It is when Moses freed the Jews from the Pharaoh of Egypt.
Wow, you sound authoritative there.
What passed over?
They marked the doors with the blood of the animals.
Oh, he knows.
So, it was that the firstborn son of everyone who did not have their doors marked would be taken, including the Pharaoh's son was taken.
Ooh.
And all the ones that had the blood on the door.
It was marked to pass over.
Ah.
Don't kill those babies.
Okay.
It's actually true. Yeah. All right. Well, North Korea. That's Mark.
Can I have
Langfan.
some wine now?
Go right ahead with your matzahs over there.
Manishkana halayla has that. Can we get to the juicy stuff, please?
And where do you live at again?
I live in Kings Point and Delray Beach.
Oh, down there. Oh, okay, that's good.
Up there, up there.
Up there.
Up there.
south.
Over there.
Over there.
Over there, around there. Well, North Korea has the capability to send an EMP over South Korea, thereby conquering the United States of America.
I didn't realize we were so close.
This is Mark Langfan's article. We're going to get into it very deeply, either today or tomorrow. He basically says that within minutes, there's something like 8 or 9 million man army North Korea has.
Right.
With the army, the regulars, the reserves, and
It's a lot of army. It's a big army.
then a civilian corps. It's a military state, right? And he basically says that an EMP over South Korea would result in 20 to 25,000 American soldiers being captured
Okay.
and held as ransom to have North Korea do the bidding, to have America do the bidding of North Korea. Got 25,000.
Hopefully, they would just keep them captured and not cannibalize them because they are starving.
They're a high value target, and Mark's article goes on to say if you got 25,000 of American soldiers, you're going to want them back. So
Yeah.
what are you going to do? You're going to let them just get massacred day by
Right.
day. You're going to go in and fight. What are you going to do? So interesting article. And then I have this. You heard about Jesus getting stomped on at our favorite university in Boca Raton?
Oh, that's okay.
course.
That's okay.
DeAndre Poole. Professor DeAndre Poole.
Yeah.
I didn't hear about this story.
You didn't hear about it?
No.
DeAndre Poole, professor at Florida Atlantic University.
And also part of the Democratic Party of Palm Beach County.
He's a leader of the Democrat Party, Palm Beach County.
Is this the same FAU that allowed the dead baby bodies to be sprinkled on the lawn?
That's the same one. Yes, it is. Yes,
I
it
love
is.
that school. They stomp on Jesus.
They throw out
They love the Palestinians.
It was a social science class, and the assignment was to write the name Jesus on a piece of paper, put it on the ground, and tell the students they had to stomp on the name.
Was it an expression of free speech, or what was the point?
The study was in the area of symbolism and how symbolism impacts.
Why didn't they take the
human
Quran out
psychology.
there and stomp it?
I kill you.
This is all part of the counter argument, but a fascinating story. There was one kid, a Mormon, in fact, and in the Christian world, most Christians, Catholics or Protestants, do not see Mormonism as a legitimate Christian religion for a lot of reasons. But this kid, and they believe in Jesus and all
Right.
that. They're totally different view of Jesus. He was a totally different view. He was Satan's brother, But they respect Jesus a lot. So the Mormon kid refused to do it, stomp on the name Jesus. And then somehow the whole deal got blown out of proportion, and the kid was going to get suspended, and back and forth.
Well, the kid went to
the Mormon kid?
The Mormon kid.
The student went to a supervisor or an administrator about the teacher's assignment.
Let me get this story straight. So he refused to stomp on the
name Jesus on a piece of paper.
On a piece of paper on the ground. And there wasn't a piece of paper on the ground that said Mohammed. And there wasn't a piece of paper on the ground that said
it was just Jesus.
Johnson.
It was
just Jesus.
Yeah, it was.
Okay.
It was. I mean, the whole idea that
Moses wasn't on the ground. You didn't stomp
No
him.
Buddha.
No Buddha. Okay.
No, the whole idea
just
was
checking.
Yeah,
Just checking.
So that story's out there floating around, and it keeps coming back to life. FAU apologized, and they don't apologize, and all this.
Oh, real quick, FAU. There were some students protesting about taking that $6 million to name the stadium after a prison, the private prison company. Well, our friend Mary Jane Shoes sped away and hit one of the students with the mirror of her car and just sped off.
Oh, my word.
Yeah.
Well, no, so that school's back in the news. If we don't get to it later today, we'll take a look at it tomorrow. Okay. Interesting situation. Joe Biden went on a trip to Paris.
And, CJ.
Just, a junket for a day or two here, several $1 million. And then I got a great little deal for everybody. We'll show you later. Two sisters, twins. They've retired from work, and between them they've had 350,000 sex partners. They were prostitutes at the red light district in Amsterdam, and they retired at 75 years old.
That is disgusting.
I have pictures of them.
Oh, please do not show.
It's pretty.
I beg, please, full burqa only.
I'm going to have to agree with you on the full burqa thing. I'll second the full burqa motion.
We may get to that a little later. Right now it's time to dive back down into our study here, folks. This is Tom Trento with J. Mark Campbell, or as Abdullah likes to say,
Fat CJ.
CJ is not with us. She is with her family, and the Seder this evening, and Passover. It's 8 days, huh? You guys have some long holidays, man.
Well,
you get more holidays than you get regular days.
It seems that way. I'm retired, so it's all a holiday to me.
I'm a Christian. I got Christmas. It's 1 day. Easter, 1 day. Your Easter, Passover's 8 days. Your Christmas is 7 days.
8.
No.
Hanukkah's 8 days.
Is it 8? Everything's in 8.
What does the Goyim know?
8 days of light.
8 days.
Yeah.
How many candles on your menorah?
No, it's different ones. I've seen different ones.
There's actually 9.
There's actually 9. Yeah. So
At the center.
All right. Well, anyway, TrentoVision here. We're launching a public investigation. If you're just joining with us at 4:23 in the afternoon, of the cabal of 13 citizens who joined together to conspire. We're not saying the conspiracy violated any federal law at this point.
I am.
What is the federal law violates?
Well, first of all, the guy who's one of the conspirators is actually sitting on a human rights council in New York.
Okay, that you stated a fact.
Okay.
What law is being violated?
Well, he's trying to suppress the First Amendment right of freedom of speech while being an active member upon the board.
You stated another fact.
I don't know if being a member of a board has any, has federal crime to it. I mean, to me, it's just a straight repression of a First Amendment right.
What law is being violated?
All right. Would a law be violated if he was a senator?
No. I don't see it yet. I mean,
okay, that's the show. See you tomorrow.
No, the issue isn't. These people are in violation of a law. They're exercising their First Amendment rights. They got caught though conspiring to be hypocrites when they present themselves as these freedom-loving and human rights-loving and all of this stuff.
So the President of the United States came down and said, I do not want you to have this person speaking here at this institution.
The Secretary of State said, we will find that guy and put him in jail. And the guy's in jail who made the movie, you know,
That was a probation violation.
Yes,
It has
yes,
nothing
yes.
to do with the
But
film.
we will check. This
what
is an ongoing investigation. We'll
Okay.
leave it open.
All right.
We'll leave it open. I'm
not a lawyer. So
I would love to say I was mistaken. Mark was right. There's a violation of law here. Now, I know there's violations of the rules of being a human rights committee. I mean, you got all kinds of rules. You can't discriminate. You can't do this. You can't do that, and all this. But it's going to be interesting to see when these guys start defending
At
themselves.
the very
'Cause
least,
guess what?
it's ultra hypocritical.
Which
Which
is
is
the
a crime.
point. When if we were to yell and scream about a jihadi someplace, we're going to tell you, you know, we Islam is a problem as an ideology. Adherents who are Sharia compliant are enemies of the Constitution. That guy's speaking there. We've already done our homework and said he's an enemy of the United States Constitution. He shouldn't be speaking because he has the right to. We need to condemn him, or if it's public property, whatever.
And we won't secretly conspire in an email to do it. We actually say it publicly. And we do all the time.
Yeah, all the time. But I hope I'm wrong on this. I hope there is some law that's been because, look, when we're out there as much as we are, you know, we have to be obviously consistent in terms of allowing the nitwits to have their First Amendment rights to fight battles. But that's not what I see as the fatal flaw in all of these people.
Right.
Their fatal flaw is they got busted
Got caught on-
for gigantic hypocrites. They all need to wear an H on their head. You know, like an A if you're an adulteress, an H on their head. But there's more to it than that. So here's our primary subjects right there, Mr. Ahmed.
Net one.
DeRoche, Islamic Center of Long Island, Interfaith Alliance, and Unitarian. That's a stupid name. Unitarian Universalists for Justice in the Middle East.
You know, so they
I
always do
love that group.
They always do that for justice, for peace.
Oh,
I mean,
it's always
it's always the same thing for Freedom and Justice Party. It's like
Turkey, Egypt,
they all do
freedom
that.
Because
and
people-
justice, and it has nothing to do with
Either.
United States citizens' definition of freedom or justice.
All right, here's our first subject of our public investigation, Mr. Habeeb Ahmed.
Oh, my dentist.
And he does look like a dentist. And we're going to go to the site www.icliny. Anybody know what that means?
Yes.
Islamic Center of
Long Island, New York.
Okay, let's see if this happens.
Okay. There
Yeah.
Fancy.
Fancy dancy.
So we've pulled up the website.
We pull up the website, and Farge, they have the various times for prayer. See that right there? Monday, 5:30 a.m., the first one in the morning. Then
Right,
sunrise
right.
at 6:49.
The 5 prayers.
The afternoon, the Asher, Maghrib, and 5 times there's 6 there. They got 6 of them up there.
The 5 daily prayers. And one more for bonus.
And let's go about. We're just going to take a look at this website. This is the rat's nest, the center of the conspiracy against Pamela Geller. We're going to read a little bit about.
But they're not the initiators of it. It's actually the Unitarians were the initiators of this whole chain. Were they not, Tom? If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, the first one, the first email is from.
I thought it was from the Unitarians.
No, it's from Tebbets, Richard Tebbets, and he was dear. It was the Alliance, the Interfaith Alliance, Long Island.
Okay.
Richard Tebbets is the secretary of the Interfaith Alliance, Long Island.
Secretary.
And he got the ball rolling, and then it took off from there. But
Okay.
let's go back to Questuqua. There we go. Nope, not that one. Stay there.
You had it.
We're going here, right here. All right, brief history of Islamic Center of Long Island. Grew out of the concerns in the early 70s, Nassau 70s. Do you believe that? Islamic jihadis were here in the 70s.
Actually, a lot earlier than that.
Yeah, in the 60s.
Well, if you actually want to go back to Kutub, it's actually back in the 50s. But
Well, this particular place was incorporated in 1982, and they put their year Rajab 1402. 1402. Oops. Oy. Okay. Okay, thank you. I'm getting stuff on my desk here. Is that there? I also, okay, good. About us, ask the Imam. Well, what we want to go to here is
Their history, right?
Yeah, we're looking at their history. About us. I think this is about us.
You could go to the board on the left.
Board of
side.
Trustees. I want to go to the Board of Trustees. Yeah. The Board of Trustees. We have the chairman is Mr. Sajid Shah.
Now, this is on their website. We're not making this
Yes,
up.
this is all on the ICLYNY.org website. Everyone, go out there, check it out yourselves. ICLYNY.org.
Yeah, and look, this is normal. This is standard operating procedure. You have an organization, you put your board, they're listing it. But in our investigation, what we have found through the years is that most likely, and we're in the midst of doing this work, most likely many of these people on this board, Sajid Shah, Vice President Dr. Tavir Mar, Fakuhidin Ahmed, Simi Ahmed, a lot of Ahmeds, Dr. Irfan Amin, all of these folks as we go through this, in some way, shape, or form, many of them do what? What happens to many of these folks?
They end up on the Muslim Brotherhood somewhere, or some ISNA board, or some connection like that.
When you start putting
Or in prison.
when you start putting the connections together, you see that 4 of them both serve on the ISNA research division, and then the work they did there, they wrote a paper that comes over here, but this takes time to dig through all this stuff.
ISNA is Islamic Society in North America. It is the head of the snake, if you will.
In America,
yeah. And you have CARE and all those other ones below it, but the ISNA is actually the head of the entire Muslim Brotherhood snake, if you will.
And what we're showing right here is the executive committee. The president is Dr. Ursma Chaudhry. And president-elect, let's draw your attention to that. What's the president-elect on the Islamic Center of Long Island, New York? Who's the president-elect listed on the website?
Habeeb Ahmed.
Habeeb Ahmed. And he puts his name together there. I've seen it
Habeeb
separated. Habeeb Ahmed. Yep. And is Mr. Farouk Khan. Yep. Dr. Farouk Khan is up there. Now, both of them are board members of the Islamic Center of Long Island.
Co-founders.
They're both co-founders, right? Now, you did some research the other day.
Yes, and I actually made a mistake. I referred to Daisy Khan as the niece of Habeeb Ahmed, and she is actually the niece of Farouk Khan, also co-founder of the mosque.
So Farouk Khan is
the uncle of Daisy Khan, and I misspoke last week, and I relayed that Habeeb was. Habeeb and Farouk work very closely. In fact, in the minutes of the Interfaith Alliance, it has where Habeeb asked the other directors or committee members to place Farouk Khan on the board as well with the Interfaith Council. So they're practically like brothers.
What is the relationship of Daisy Khan to Habeeb Ahmed?
They are not blood relatives, to the best of my knowledge. But she, her uncle and Habeeb founded the mosque, and they know each other. According to my sources, they know each other very well. It's almost a familial-like relationship.
Okay, so they're very, very close.
And she has spoken at the Islamic Center of Long Island several times, and she was even at Miss Claire DeRoche's church last week. Daisy Khan was speaking.
Okay, well, we're going to have to work through this stuff with the folks. All right, back to my screen, Mike. We're looking at Habeeb Ahmed. We know he's the president-elect of, you have it in your email. This thing. He's the president-elect of the Islamic Center. Now, what is his role with the Interfaith Alliance? Let's take a look at that. The Interfaith Alliance, folks.
They use the T.
You got to hang with us, okay?
We're drawing dots. We're placing dots down to draw the lines too.
And there's really we're making this pretty easy. We're bringing the cookies down to the lower shelf. but these incestuous relationships of all these various organizations, and then sometimes the transition in the spelling of the names, things can get a little cloudy, but we will clear it up for you. Right now on your screen is the website of the Interfaith Alliance Long Island. This is the organization that Richard Tibbetts, who is the secretary. Okay. Richard Tibbetts is the secretary of the Interfaith Alliance in Long Island. He initiated the string of 7 emails. And when you go to the Interfaith Alliance to see who they are interfaithly linked with,
dialoguing with,
who they're dialoguing with, you go down and you see the Islamic Center of Long Island right there. Let me click on that and see. Look at some of these organizations that the Interfaith Alliance. Now, Mark, give us 30 seconds on your experiences with this interfaith movement, with Muslims doing dawah with Jews and Christians.
Well, first of all, it's only an interfaith dialogue between people who they want to interfaith dialogue with. And it's typically what the interfaith dialogue is with a radical Muslim group, with a liberal leftist organization, such as a Jewish group or a Unitarian group or something like that. They do not wish to have an interfaith dialogue as such with anybody who has any conservative values or anybody who wants to, who would dare question their motives.
So it's a one-way, building bridges, it's a one-way bridge.
Well, it's an infiltration operation is what basically it is. It's an infiltration operation into the different various Jewish or Unitarian groups to actually get to on the board of a Human Rights Council or some way segue into a political connection with a state or national representative.
This morning, as I was preparing for this, I had an interesting thought. And I haven't thought this out in my mind yet. I haven't worked out all the particulars.
It's a really brilliant plan, actually.
Oh, yeah, in terms of the interfaith deal. But I started doing some thinking. I'm going, all right, we have established, and what we're doing, folks, at 37 minutes past 4 o'clock on TrentoVision, we're bringing you into a real live investigation, an ongoing public investigation into 13 people that are conspiring to prohibit, stop, prevent Pamela Geller.
Covertly.
Yeah, they were doing it covertly through
no longer.
But they said in their emails that they would, and they did make some phone calls out, but they didn't tell obviously what was going on. No, they have been busted that way. And we're letting you see what this investigation is like for a couple of reasons. We want you to see a little bit about what we do here at TrentoVision.tv, the United West. If you're so inclined to help continue this kind of work, go to TrentoVision.tv, donate securely. We would appreciate any sort of donation to help us. But we're also showing you that if we're going to keep America, and keep Sharia-compliant Muslims from running influence operations on the administration and on the military and all over the place. If we the people, see the sign behind us, we the people, that's why it's there. If we have to do what's necessary from an academic and ideological point of view, an activistic point of view, then we need your help. And we're showing you with the tools out there today, with a computer and with all these social networking relationships, you can do tremendous research that could expose the bad guys. And you get us the information and we'll coalesce the information and coordinate it and do a little community organizing. But what we're showing you right now is that, and here's the thought I had this morning. I said, all the pro-Hamas interfaith groups, yes, whether they're Christian groups or Jewish groups, virtually all deny the reality of a living God.
Okay.
All of these Christian groups you see here are either neo-Orthodox on the Protestant side. No real belief in God. The Bible, the stories in the Bible are good stories for motivation and information, but they never really There was no Jonah.
Like the Sunday comics.
Like that. So you get something out of it, and it's really the purpose in life is not to have a proper relationship with God. It's to help the oppressed and the downtrodden.
Social justice.
Enjoy yourself.
Social
too.
justice.
In
Social
fact,
justice.
I've been to covertly. I've been to a lot of these meetings, and also overtly, almost the term gets brought up ad nauseum at all these
Social justice.
social justice, and that's purely a Marxist
That's
philosophy.
our friend
Oh, yeah.
Claire is the social director,
Social justice, Claire
coordinator
DeRoche.
for the
Now, if you go-
UCSR.
If you go to the Jewish side of the interfaith equation, on the pro-Arab side, they're all leftist Jews.
Right.
They're not religious Jews. They blew that stuff off so long
They're
ago.
social justice Jews. Yeah.
So the unifying factor that the Sharia-compliant Muslims, who are hardcore theists, they are monotheists. Allah is God. There is no other God. That's number one. They target the non-believing Jews and the non-believing Christians to do their dawah, because that in theological battles, the essence of God, the description of God, the identity of God, the validity of God is your bulwark. You're fighting for there's 5,000 religions. They all believe God is something else. God's in the tree. God's this. God's that. But it's the essential belief in God that is the dividing.
Well, you guys believe in social justice too, because you kind of believe what I believe. Then you support me, and you support my causes. Therefore, I'm going to support you.
We're the same, yeah. And when you do this, now I'm speaking not theologically but psychologically. When you adopt, if God is for real, I'm speaking theologically as a theologian right now. If God is for real, as Augustine said, there's a God-shaped void in everybody.
Right.
And you can fill it with a pair of glasses. You can fill it with an iPhone. You can fill it, but it's partially filled. Only complete satisfaction and contentment in life comes when it's fully filled by who God is, that plugs the hole in your life. When you take God out as a leftist Jew or leftist Christian, and I'm using those terms not theologically.
Well, they try to fill it also with a void of some type of nature nurture, saving the earth. The earth is the God. Then also, and what's the biggest trend right now is government is now the God, which replaces the void to which you're
that's
talking.
that whole move to the left, the socialist Marxist move.
Right.
But now I'm speaking psychologically. If it's true that there is a real God and you've extricated him from your life, then there's an existential discord going on. If someone comes along, Muslims, and says, "Oh, we're all children of Abraham."
Right.
It sounds godlike. Mm-hmm. Let's all be together and love
we
God.
We are the world.
What a beauty! You talk about
Kumbaya.
You talk about setting up your target, Jews and Christians who don't believe in God, from an influence point of view. They are dummies just set up to roll right over. And hang on, watch what happens on the other side of the spectrum. On the other side are people like us, generally speaking. On the Christian side, the Zionists will make it Zionism. The pro-Israel Christians are primarily the evangelical Christians,
right,
and conservative Catholics that truly believe in God.
Okay.
There's leftist Catholics that are way over on the other side. They blew God off a long time.
Okay.
But the evangelical Protestants have a very vital personal belief in God. It's the whole thing of salvation and all of that. And our God is in battle with the God of Islam. They're not the same God, folks. They're different, okay?
Okay.
So we're in that theological battle.
Allah has abrogated your God.
Yes.
Excuse me.
Yeah, you're right. But interestingly enough, what's happened is the evangelical Christians have become hardcore supporters of Jewish people, Israel, and that's called being a Zionist, basically. And the religious Jews who believe in a personal God fall into that same side of the equation as Zionists, joining now with Christians. This is a bizarre phenomenon.
I hate it.
This is a
I
phenomenon.
can't stand it.
No.
Jew-
And actually, the biggest supporters of Israel, the biggest Zionists of Israel, are actually Christians.
Yeah, but the Bible-believing Christians and Bible-believing Jews who believe in a personal God have joined together as Zionists to stand with Israel, and the non-Bible-believing Jews and non-Bible-believing Christians have taken a position opposite us and have lined up with the Muslims.
Right? I know.
It's all where you line up for Israel or against Israel is determined in a great sense of your personal belief in God. Just a little observation on my part.
And here's the irony of all this is, we talk with a lot of radical left, Muslims, if you will, okay? And I had a couple conversations with them. And the irony is they actually respect us 1,000,000 times more than they respected liberals. They have absolutely zero respect.
That is very interesting.
And I said, what do you guys, you guys, it says obviously, because sometimes we try to have private conversations with these people just to get the truth out of them, just to see exactly where they're standing. And the funny thing about it is they loathe you guys. They totally loathe you.
They view you as a disposable car.
Yep.
I mean, worse than that.
You being the liberals.
You being the liberals.
As a disposable car.
And they
They'll
said,
ride you where they want to get to go and then throw it away.
And they think of the liberals as just stupid people without any moral values or any moral conviction. In fact, I've had the radical Islamists come up to us and say, we wish we had 1,000 people like you guys are doing what you're doing. And it goes, you guys are convicted.
We want to kill you, but besides that.
No, but
I
you
want
guys
to
are.
kill you and take your soul.
You're impassioned about what you believe. You know what you believe. Says, I wish we had 1,000 more people like you. We could, take over everything. And they're dead serious.
Yeah, no.
And I know in a moment of honesty, when you're talking with them, it was absolutely true.
Hey, Tom, did you want to show that other link with Habeeb sitting on the Nassau County Human Rights Commission?
Yeah, in a second. Come back to this screen. I want to make this connection here. We're our 7-year investigation has commenced today. Now we're bringing the viewers and listeners in to the investigation, but also a little bit into our lives, our way of doing things, so that you can see. But on the screen, in one of the boxes is the Islamic Center of Long Island. Let's click on that. Now we're on the Interfaith Alliance website. When I click on this as a joint organization, look where it goes to. Islamic Center of Long Island's website. Don't forget, we're back here with Mr. Habeeb. Now we're back up on the screen, Mike, Mr. Habeeb. And this is the one you're talking about, right?
Yeah.
All right. Now we're establishing here, if this were a court of law, we're stipulating we're stipulating evidence for the case we're presenting, and we're just laying out that which is fact, and then we'll connect the dots later on. Now we're going to go to Nassau County, and we're going to check, is Habeeb Ahmed really on the Commission of Nassau County, and what is the Commission of Nassau County all about? Well, there it is right in front of you. I'll blow it up a little bit.
And this is the Nassau County, Long Island, New York. Which county? This is the commissioner board.
Nassau County Commission.
This is the commissioner board.
And just for people who aren't familiar with Nassau County, New York, it's not Yeehaw Junction.
Okay, it's a huge area.
Huge, and a huge amount
What does
of
it?
wealth.
What does it include? Does it include Long Island? I mean, the whole.
No, it's not all of Long Island. It's a good chunk of Long Island.
From the southern to the New York side, all the way up north, or do you know?
I don't have a map here, but I could pull one up for you.
Yeah, pull one up for you. Let's see how big this is, because this actually it's a very important point here, because how far this actually includes.
The county, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, look on the Board of Commissioners. There's the chairman, Zayed. Is that a Muslim name? I think so. So out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. All right, folks, out of 14 members of the Board of Commissioners in Nassau County, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, looks like 6 Muslims on the Board of Commissioners. That's very interesting.
your phone going off there?
And Mr. Habeeb Ahmed is right there, top of the list. Now, as we check the little bit of the demos on Nassau County, let's look at the Human Rights Commission's mission statement. Okay? Now, here's where, Mark, your theory may start getting some legs. That it's a fact, we're stipulating again in terms of presenting the evidence for our hypothesis that this is a collusion between Sharia-compliant Muslims and leftists, red socialists, quasi-Marxists, leftists, to deprive Pamela Geller of her First Amendment right to speech. That's our thesis, our hypothesis. Once we get some skin on it, it'll become a thesis, and then it'll become a fact. Hypothesis, thesis, fact, we hope. That's what we're trying to do. But in his email chain to these folks, Mr. Habeeb Ahmed used the salutation Nassau County Commissioner. As he was colluding and conspiring with right. The 13 co-conspirators.
Right.
And I'm reading the mission statement now for Nassau County. Let's see if Mr. Habeeb Ahmed violated at least the mission statement by conspiring to deny someone their First Amendment right to speak. The Nassau County Commission on Human Rights was established on April 8th, 1863 with the approval of all these different people. The Nassau County Commission on Human Rights is committed to improving relations and ensuring equality of opportunity in Nassau County. Is Great Neck, Long Island Synagogue in Nassau County?
Yes.
Yes.
So, improving relations and ensuring equality of opportunity in Nassau County. The Commission's mandate is to eliminate discrimination in employment, housing, places of public accommodation, and education. So, no discrimination. In Nassau County, discrimination is defined as any difference in treatment based upon actual or perceived race, creed, color, national origin, ethnicity, gender, religion, source of income, sexual orientation, age, marital status, familial status, and or disability. Persuasion, conciliation, investigation, and education are the major tools used to accomplish our goals. So they do a little persuasion, conciliation, investigation, and education. Welcome to us there, Nassau County folks. The Commission is committed to promoting harmony among the diverse populations of Nassau County by developing and initiating programs, literature projects which promote mutual respect through understanding and education. To that end, the Commission is comprised of an investigative unit, job development center, a communications relations unit, and a pretrial services unit.
Okay.
All right. Anything stick out there as we go through this?
In what light? There's a whole bunch of things that stick out.
Well, is there anything there that would indicate that Habeeb Ahmed, in using his title to conspire against Pamela Geller, has exceeded the legitimate boundaries of the mission statement?
Yes. I mean, go ahead and make the point that you're wanting to make, because I don't want to take away your time here on this thing. Go ahead.
No. I'm just saying that he would argue that Pamela Geller is discriminating against Muslims by discussing the Sharia.
Right.
And therefore, our job is to provide equality. I don't know how he would argue this.
My computer. Net 2.
I don't know how he would argue this. I don't see room here for him to say, I function in my capacity as a human rights commissioner by participating in the conspiracy against Pamela Geller to suppress our First Amendment rights, which supersede other areas. Go ahead. What do you got?
No, I'm just trying to bring up the map for you guys just to see it, and how big this area is actually included.
Yeah, I had it up also. It's as big as Queens and Brooklyn together.
Yeah, it's absolutely.
Can you bring
huge.
up his computer?
Where is
Yeah,
it?
net 2. Net 2.
Stop.
Mike, that's not it, Mike.
There we go.
No, it's not.
Net 2.
No, it's not it.
You're on camera 4, not net 2.
Net 2.
Net 2.
Oh.
You haven't grabbed it yet.
Okay.
Did too.
Anyway, but
You can grab mine if you want.
yeah.
Okay, we're black.
Which one is yours?
Pull up anything. All right, in any event,
There it is. Okay. No, it's absolutely huge. It actually goes all the way from the edges of New York,
There it is, there it
all
is.
the way over to all the way to the airport in Long Island, and it goes in very big money areas, very big,
Huge. Yeah, very
huge money
that
areas.
is huge. That is a
I
key.
mean, that is like prime real estate as far as influence into, because this is where everybody who has.
All right, so
any
here's
money-
what we've established as we got to come to an end right now. We've established that Habeeb Ahmed is hooked into the mosque. We know he's president-elect. He's hooked into the alliance.
the money, influence, and power of New York.
And
too.
he's hooked into a key piece of geography with 5 other Muslims on the Nassau County Human Rights Commission.
Right.
All right. Those are little dots. We're going to connect them, but right now we've got to take a short break. We'll be back in just a few minutes, and we'll go on with these other organizations and Claire DeRoche. Stay with us.
Mhm.
Yeah, that is a beautiful piece of dirt.
Hey.
Here.
Shit, I can't pull it.
So let me hear you say that I'm a criminal of war. Come on, little punk, that's what you came here for. Take a photo, you can stage it if it's necessary. Should I make an expression that is really scary? Bigger than you, we're here and disappeared. Neither mentioned smarter, but that's no big deal. So deceived and naive, whatever you achieve, as much as you lie, you're dust on my sleeve. For 4,000 years, this country's been mine. That's before your great-grandmother wore diapers and wine. Open a book, it's not a big mystery, though I'm sure you failed the test in history. When force is not an option, you refer to scam. But frankly, you bug, I don't give a damn of your ignorant opinion or what you think about me. I'm an Israeli soldier, proud to be. אני חי מיום ליום, לא הולך לשום מקום. יום עובר ועוד יום בא, ושום דבר לא השתנה. השעון לא נעצר, עוד מעט יבוא מחר. רק המנגינה חוזרת, אין לי ארץ אחרת. Let me tell you what I condemn, the 10 plagues. I think Moses should be brought to their Hague. Let my people go, declaration full of vanity. Boils and hail, now that's a crime against humanity. The name of this place, Judea, rings a bell. Shut down your camera and operate your cells. 2 + 2, I know it's hard for you to beat, so exaggerate, manipulate, I don't give up. Shift now back to Samaria, which you call the PA, the place of King David, all the prophets, and hey, Jesus was here, but I hate to break it to you, I heard an awful rumor, they say he was a Jew. So don't let me interrupt you, do the job for what you hired. With your organizations, you really got me tired. The bottom line is, though it's painful to see, I'm an Israeli soldier, proud to be. אני חי מיום ליום, לא הולך לשום מקום. יום עובר ועוד יום בא, ושום דבר לא השתנה. השעון לא נעצר, עוד מעט יבוא מחר. רק המנגינה חוזרת, אין לי ארץ אחרת. I ain't gonna move this time, no use. I've taken enough of your twists and abuse. Every time you come in different forms in disguise. Purity of race, human rights, all your lies. So ride by inside, with me it's fine. Do your little job, I'll keep doing mine. From the mountains of Galilee, from desert to sea, I'm an Israeli soldier, proud to be. אני חי מיום ליום, לא הולך לשום מקום. יום עובר ועוד יום בא, ושום דבר לא השתנה. השעון לא נעצר, עוד מעט יבוא מחר. רק המנגינה חוזרת, אין לי ארץ אחרת. So let me hear you say that I'm a criminal of war. Come on, little punk, that's what you came here for. Take a photo, you can stage it if it's necessary. Should I make an expression that is really scary? Bigger than you, we're here and disappeared. Not to mention smarter, but that's no big deal. So deceived and naive, whatever you achieve, as much as you lie, you're dust on my sleeve. For 4,000 years this country's been mine. That's before your great-grandmother wore diapers and wine. Open a book, it's not a big mystery, though I'm sure you failed the test in history. When force is not an option, you refer to scam. But frankly, you bug, I don't give a damn of your ignorant opinion or what you think about me. I'm an Israeli soldier, proud to be. אני חי מיום ליום, לא הולך לשום מקום. יום עובר ועוד יום בא, ושום דבר לא השתנה. השעון לא נעצר, עוד מעט יבוא מחר. רק המנגינה חוזרת, אין לי ארץ אחרת. Let me tell you what condemn the 10 plagues. I think Moses should be brought to their Hague. Let my people go, declaration full of vanity, boils and hell. Now that's a crime against humanity.
All right, what are we doing?
This place, Judea, rings a bell. Shut down your camera and operate yourself. 2 + 2, I know it's hard for you to beat, so exaggerate, manipulate, I don't give up. Shift now back to Samaria, which you call the PA, the place of King David, all the prophets, and hey, Jesus was here, but I hate to break it to you, I heard an awful rumor, they say it wasn't true, so don't let me interrupt you, do the job for what you hired. With your organizations, you really got me tired. The bottom line is,
Okay, we back?
Yeah, go.
Okay, go.
Go! Okay, we're gone. We are gone once again. 2 hours gone, and the hours are going quickly as we're meandering and digging in deeply through our public investigation of the group of 13 who were caught in 7 emails conspiring against Pamela Geller to suppress her First Amendment right to speak. A Jewish woman to speak at a Jewish synagogue. No, we don't want that to happen. You can't have that happening.
In collusion with a county commissioner on human rights commissioner in.
He screwed that guy, I think.
Yeah, pull up that net too, Mike, and you can see the whole area where they're conspiring against.
What we're doing on TrentoVision.tv at 5:07 and on WNN 1470, we are launching today a public investigation into this group of people that we touched on last week. And the group is, you can leave that up, Mike. The group is in Nassau County, and that's an outline. What do you got there, Mark?
That's the Nassau County outline, which is just a hop, skip, and jump from New York down the street. And in a second, we're going to be pulling up the video with Tony Ovella to show exactly what these Muslim groups and they support as far as free speech is concerned and what their objective is. And
our purpose today, and for those of you come back here, for those of you wondering, what happened to CJ? She gained some weight.
That's right.
Where's
beefing up?
Yeah,
beefing up for Passover.
Ah, there you go. Tom Trento and Fat CJ right there. We all want CJ to gain a little bit of weight, but not that much. Come on, CJ. What are you doing?
JC.
Get back on the treadmill. CJ, Cheryl Joy, is a Jewish woman, our co-host, and she is spending a little time off with her family, friends. In fact, we were invited to a Seder, but could not make it. We have a show going on here, and somebody's got to do it, right? But we're so glad to be here, and to all our Jewish friends, have a fabulous Passover.
Darkness.
Wonderful Passover.
Mute it. Thank you.
We're queuing up some stuff for you. But our purpose today is to bring you inside part of our public investigation into Mr. Habeeb Ahmed. Now, we're digging down, folks, to do the hard grunt work necessary. It took 10 years for the CIA to figure out how to get Osama bin Laden. All right, this stuff is a lot of work, and all we're trying to do is develop some themes with the individuals in Nassau County hooked into the Islamic Center of Long Island, and to see if they have any connections with jihadi Muslims, whether they support Islamic terrorism, whether they speak out of one side of their mouth and say, oh, we're against terrorism, but then are associated with folks who are endorsing and are raising money for it, one of those plays, which we think is the case. But we're bringing you into a United West investigation. We do a lot of this sort of stuff. And we're showing you the initial steps. So you're getting sort of a National Geographic behind-the-scenes look at an investigation into our jihadi hunting.
Whoa.
Wow.
I did not know this. Is the Nassau County Forbes magazine? I'm just looking quickly at the Wikipedia. At 1.3 million people, listed as a very affluent county in New York. 2012, Forbes magazine, in an article based on the U.S. Census Bureau American Community Survey, reported Nassau County was the 12th richest county in America and the highest in the state of New York, with a median household income of about $91,000.
And on the Nassau County Human Rights Commission, designed to make sure everybody's equal,
Right.
6 Muslims. What's the Muslim population of Nassau County?
Oh, I don't.
This is called an influence operation, folks. When you have, we guarantee you, this is why we're doing the investigation. When we start looking into the 6 Muslim individuals on the Nassau County Human Rights Commission, these folks are going to be members of a whole bunch of different organizations.
Humanitarian
organizations. And somehow we're going to find a connection to the Hamas. That's our theory. That's the direction we're headed. And so far in these kind of things, we have never been wrong. Maybe this is the first time I seriously doubt it. But the catalyst for all of this was an invitation that Pamela Geller got, along with a father, Buckley, I think their name is. Pamela is speaking at the Great Neck Synagogue on April 14th, Sunday, with Mr. Buckley, I believe the name is, if you can check that out, somebody. And Mr. Buckley lost a son to green on blue, green being Islam. Some of the Afghan National Army or Afghan police turning on American soldiers and killing them. Mr. Buckley lost a son to that not too long ago, and he has agreed to speak at this event at Great Neck Synagogue with Pamela Geller on the 14th. Well, the conspirators, 13 of them, heard about it, and Richard Tibbetts, secretary for the Interfaith Alliance of Long Island, initiated an email, and then there was a chain of 7 that I could hear that other room out there. They initiated they had a 7 linked email chain, and somehow we got our hands on it. How'd that happen? Right. Somehow we got our hands on it, and we published it last Friday. It created a firestorm. Tremendous amount of support went to the synagogue rabbi, and support by pastors in the area. And he came out with a statement saying, he's going to go on with the program. Show goes on. And now, we're not just dropping the ball there. We believe there's going to be other efforts to stop Pamela and Mr. Buckley. But we think we have stumbled upon something that can, once the dots are connected, can be a scary picture in Nassau County. Yeah, Mark.
Well, the Human Rights Commission, 6 members of 6 Muslims?
13, 6 are Muslims.
So 50?
About 50%.
About 50%.
Little
40 or whatever percent. Right, okay. Total Muslims in Nassau County, 11,000.
Out of a total population of what?
1.385 million.
Now,
a little disproportionate, I'd say.
Now, the general population.
This is a very important point. Go ahead.
Yeah, Jewish population is 20%. Catholic population is 68%, and 11,000 Muslims, and they have six congregations. They represent 4.17 of the state's Muslim estimate population, and 11,164 adherents.
To what? Adherence to what?
Adherents to Islam. And so 47, 49, that sounds like a human rights violation there, where you have
A disproportionate amount of Muslims.
On the Human Rights Commission, which are right down the street.
So you're not even, the Nassau County Human Rights Commission
It's totally stacked.
is not even diverse, you know?
Yeah, but
Yeah.
you see, the Muslims have a better idea of what is human rights, so that is why we populate it so much, is because we know better than you.
This book right here, folks, for everyone listening and watching, this book right here is a repeat coming out of our book, The Sharia, the Threat for America. Could you bring it in here?
It's in table one.
Coming out of our book. This is the explanatory memorandum of the Muslim Brotherhood in America that gives the plan of destroying America from within through a civilization jihad. I didn't make those words up, okay? This is written by the Muslim Brotherhood, and in their leading documents, they state that one of the necessary institutions that Muslims have to influence in order to accomplish their objective of a civilization jihad in the next 50 years, and this was 20 years ago, is to get involved in the human rights commissions. These are critically important, sensitive organizations within a community structure
Right.
that allows a particular worldview or philosophy to be shoehorned in and eventually accepted while everybody else is just going about their business. So, Mark, I think we really stumbled onto something significant here.
25% Jewish population, 1.1% Muslim population, but they have 40 plus percent of the seats on the Human Rights Commission. That's pretty unequally unfair, in my opinion. And it's just typical what we found. We find, Muslim mosque going up in areas which have zero population of Muslims, and this is just total influence operation, what they're trying to do, and they're trying to get into the politics of the state of New York big time. And we do have that video ready with the Avella video.
Yeah.
And let's just give an idea for the listening audience and the viewing audience, what the Muslim Brotherhood population in the state of New York, just outside of Nassau County in New York, where we had at the Muslim Day Parade when they were led down the street by Muslims.
Well, okay.
Good.
Yeah,
You got a volume?
The video we're showing you is September of last year. We were there.
September 23rd, 2012.
Go ahead.
Sounds like me.
Sounds like Tom.
Got it.
A whole bunch of stuff about the parade at some point, but right now we got to draw attention to breaking news. During the presentations at the end of the parade, where the dignitaries got up and spoke, several jihadi individuals spoke. One in particular was an imam from Brooklyn who condemned the United States and called for blasphemy laws to be written by the United Nations, by the United States, and by President Obama against anyone who blasphemed the Prophet.
The freedom of speech and freedom of rights of other states. So I would like to demand United Nations to make an international law that would criminalize blasphemy. I again demand to the United Nations on this platform, please make an international law for the protection.
To criminalize what does he mean by that, Tom?
It means don't let Pamela Geller speak at the Great Neck Synagogue. That's what that means.
This is a imam who's speaking up here, a very prominent imam with a martial sash on his chest, in the middle of New York City, Muslim Day Parade, led down the street by New York City cops with a band, the spreading of Al-Qaeda black flags around, and this guy is calling for blasphemy laws in the state of New York. right near the Nassau County City Commission. Where is the Nassau City Commission screaming at the top of their lungs, no, 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 this is against human rights. This is against human rights. Where is the Unitarian Church down there saying, no, this is against human rights? Where is the Jews inside Nassau County screaming, oh my God, this guy's against human rights? Oh, where is the Human Rights Commission in Nassau County screaming, this is happening in New York City? They're calling for blasphemy laws?
Yeah, well, what are you going to do?
Roll it.
Roll it.
Action of honor of our beloved prophet.
Following that individual was a very articulate English woman who gave sort of a rap poetic presentation about the horror of the United States and the need for the Ummah, the Muslim family, to stand up against the United States as they insult the Prophet.
We carry unborn martyrs in our wombs and drop bombs in here because all that we blow up is minds in mind fields. They resonate in refugee camps that are housed by Zionist Nazis.
Well, that was too much.
Pause it.
One of the
Pause it,
marshals of the parade,
pause it.
State Senator Tony Avella.
Carrying bombs in our wombs.
Carrying the bombs in our wombs.
Carrying
and
the
martyrs in our bellies.
And the martyrs in our bellies. And the Nazis and the Zionist Nazis.
You look too thin to fit all that in your
hold
belly.
on. Let me ask this question. Where is the human rights?
Where is Habeeb Ahmed?
Where's carrying the unborn martyrs in our wombs?
Let our investigation find out if maybe he came out in public. Maybe he condemned Hafiz Abaza. Remember whatever.
What about the other 4 members who were Muslims on the council? How come they're not up there outraged and screaming? Oh my God! No,
different county. This is Kings County, and this is.
They're not. They're right next door.
This is Manhattan. That's over there in Long Island. Way over there in Long Island.
That big rock that I could just throw and hit this parade. Give me a break. Go ahead and play it. Let's go on.
He was asked to be a marshal.
Now we have
he
Tony
marched
Avella
with the Muslims down Madison Avenue, about 10 blocks.
Democrat
he sat
state
on the
senator.
stage. He was ready at some point to speak. After these 2 jihadis, the imam from Brooklyn and the articulate English woman, condemned the United States, he had enough. He got up off the stage, left in protest, left in disgust. I tried to catch up with him. We got a few words from him.
What did you think of that?
Thank you.
What did you think of that?
I was offended.
Excuse me. What is your name?
Tony Avella.
You're with the city?
I'm a state senator.
A state senator. What offended you?
I'm not going to get into it.
No, we saw you up there very upset. You want to share it?
No, thanks. I don't want to ruin the event for somebody else.
You think he was offended, Tom, by the...
deserves to be commended for recognizing the horror of this presentation, the horror of this Muslim Day parade. And again, he is a hero to all Americans for walking off that stage. God bless you, Tony Avella.
Hey, Abdullah.
Yes, my friend.
Okay. Mark just made a point that you guys, you put out your jihadis out on September last year, Muslim Day parade. He says crazy stuff.
Unborn martyrs in our wombs, as Zionists,
anti-Jew, anti-America, anti-First Amendment.
Yes.
And Mark is drawing the parallel to the hypocrisy of the silence of the Nassau County Commission, and even worse than that, their effort to go suppress someone who's exercising their free speech. What are your thoughts on what your buddy just said there about the Nazis and all that stuff, Nazi Jews?
Relatively accurate. We are a minority here, so we can use strategies much different than you are accustomed to. We lie a lot, first of all. We use double standards, of course, moral equivalency. And so I have absolutely no problem with what these people said, especially the imam. There should be laws against blasphemy. Absolutely.
Well,
as my friend Bassam al-Halabi at the Islamic Center for Boca Raton agree.
Okay, well, here's what we have going on.
Let me ask you a question. Do blasphemy laws counteract against the First Amendment of the Constitution of the United States?
The Sharia law is absolutely above your first constitution, your First Amendment of your Constitution. Absolutely, because one is God and one is a man-made law. And how can you put man-made law above the law of God? Impossible.
Okay. Well, here's the question. The question is, I listened to that guy. We were there listening to that imam. And then I'm listening to, I'm reading the emails of Habeeb Ahmed and Richard Tebbets and Claire DeRoche and all those folks. I'm watching, and their desire, very similar, different in tactics. They're not standing on a corner yelling out or
calling for blasphemy
or doing rap songs, but they're the end state. They want to suppress any criticism of Islam. I think
absolutely
minimally. Now, what would worry me, I mean, that's starting to go into the territory of that lethal Muslim organization called the Organization of Islamic Conference. It used to be.
56 nations, the largest voting bloc at the United Nations. Don't mess with us.
No, you changed your name from the Organization of Islamic Conference to the Organization of Islamic Cooperation.
Because we vote the same on everything.
and one of the primary purposes of the OIC, the Organization of Islamic Cooperation, is to ensure and write a global blasphemy law so that it is illegal in every single nation to criticize the Prophet, to criticize Islam.
It is illegal.
That's one of the goals.
But Sharia law, it is illegal, and most of these countries in the OIC, it is illegal.
Okay, I'll grant you in the 56 Muslim nations, it's illegal to criticize Islam or to criticize or mock the Prophet or anything. But in America, we mock everybody. I mean,
that is the problem.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's a good point.
But
but here's the thing. Here's the thing that would really worry me. We've got a sitting commissioner on the Nassau County Human Rights Commission leading a conspiracy to suppress Pamela Geller and Mr. The soldier's father. If one of you can find that name, that would be good.
Yes, that was Greg Buckley.
Buckley, okay.
Will be introducing Pamela Geller, and Greg Buckley's son, Greg Buckley Jr., was one of 3 Marines killed in a green-on-blue shooting in Afghanistan.
Okay, so Pamela Geller will be with Mr. Buckley, and it seems to me the insane imam at the Muslim Day Parade that was so insane that Tony Avella, the senator, who I probably disagree with everything the senator's ever voted for. He's sort of a very liberal Democrat.
Right.
I'm a conservative Republican. But I was well, you heard what we said about him for the courage he had to go off. But that imam's goal was to suppress any criticism of Islam. It looks like the conspirators, the 13 of them, led by Claire DeRoche and Habeeb Ahmed, are doing the same thing, trying to suppress criticism.
Absolutely.
Methods and tactics.
Yeah, a little different. Well, what would worry me is if there's any connection between any of them and the Organization for Islamic Cooperation, which has as its primary focus the suppression of criticism and ultimately prohibiting it. Now, hang on.
Very funny you say this.
Well,
hang on. I'm going somewhere. This is a setup. I'm setting everything up.
Okay.
I knew that.
Now, if Mike would go to my screen, I'd like to show the viewers and tell the listeners what we have found. We are on the Islamic Center of Long Island website. Now, who is the president-elect for the Islamic Center of Long Island?
Habeeb
Oh, Habeeb
Ahmed.
Habeeb, I think we got you. Caught you with your pants down here, it looks like. On the website of the Islamic Center of Long Island is a section on Initiative 11, the Organization of Islamic Conference Outreach.
This is fantastic.
Am I reading that?
Am
I reading this properly?
Blow that up a little bit larger, Tom, because I can't.
Am I reading this properly? The Organization of Islamic Conference Outreach. Does that mean the Islamic Center of Long Island is reaching out to the OIC, and the OIC is so anti-American, and OIC is a 56-nation...
largest voting bloc at UN.
All Muslim nations.
What is that?
They hate Jews.
What does that vision thing say, Tom?
Well, let's read. Now, if we're connecting dots here, we see a jihadi imam on Muslim Day in September calling for blasphemy laws against criticizing Islam. Then we uncover a conspiracy of a group calling for the suppression of Pamela Geller, who they perceive is going to criticize Islam. They don't even know.
Well, she is the devil, so one could only suspect.
Right. Who has a board, who is a human rights board, who's populated with 5 Muslims out of 6 Muslims out of 13. Out of 13, who has a Muslim population of 1%.
In the county.
In the county, go ahead.
And 45% on the board. And then we go to the website that the president-elect, Habeeb Ahmed, his website, and we see that his mosque is reaching out to the grand poobah of outlawing criticism of Islam, the Organization of Islamic Cooperation.
Modern day caliphate.
Vision to foster a relationship with the OIC. Foster a relationship with the OIC in order to enhance the respective missions, prohibit criticism of Islam, that's the main mission, and visions of both organizations, ICLI and OIC. Unbelievable mission statement. To strengthen and promote the true image of Islam through a collaborative effort involving education, humanitarian aid, and fostering a dialogue about Islam and its tenets in the New York metropolitan area. Goals. And it goes on to say, work together, involve community members, raise funds, strategies.
Raise funds? What would they do with those funds?
Oh, to promote humanitarian aid for people across nations and religions, promote Islam as a unifying force, and in invisible ink it says, and to support the Hamas. But that's an invisible ink, it looks like.
Oh, what's the big one at the bottom? Outcome measure.
To combat the challenges facing Muslims created by the negative images harbored by some non-Muslims in the New York metropolitan area.
Pull that screen back up, Mike. That one. To combat the challenges facing Muslims created by the negative images harbored by some non-Muslims in the New York metropolitan area.
It is like a mini version of OIC, no?
Oh, I'd say it's quite a mini version of the OIC. So what we have in terms of connecting dots for the listening and viewing audience, we have, you want to start from the bottom and go up, or you want to start from the top and go down. Any way you look at it, we have a clear connection of the organization for, Mike, come to this camera here. Okay. Any way you look at it, you have a clear connection of the goals and objectives and strategies of the Organization for Islamic Cooperation, which is to make it illegal to criticize Muhammad. It's as clear as it could be.
Worldwide blasphemy laws.
Worldwide, and they've obviously picked New York. Guess what happens to be in New York? Guess what big rectangle building? Oh, the United Nations building. How nice.
Oh.
Then we see that going to the Islamic Center of Long Island as one of its initiatives to put together a relationship with the OIC. Do you think that means meeting with members of the OIC, or just kind of somehow having some sort of psychological...
It says invite key members of OIC to ICLI. Oh, so maybe...
So there may be a collusion between the OIC and the ICLI.
I just got another
physically. What do you got?
Another dot here. Another dot.
Another dot. Dot.
The Secretary General of the. This is on September 19th, 2012, right when we were there. When we were there. Secretary General of the OIC said that the international community should come out from hiding from behind the excuse of freedom of expression. The Human Rights Commission of Saudi Arabian headquartered OIC, meanwhile, called for the halting of growing intolerance towards Muslims and for an international code of conduct for media and social media to disallow the discrimination of incitement material.
What is wrong with that?
So now you start seeing this human rights
beautiful
connection.
Picture, yeah.
You start seeing this. Now this is going to Saudi Arabia, a big OIC member, the Secretary General calling for blasphemy
Of the
laws.
United Nations, right?
Of the United Nations calling in New York City. Up the street.
On what date was it? The 19th?
19th.
The 16th, Sunday, was the Susan Rice Sunday on the 5 networks,
right,
saying that Benghazi was as a result of innocence of Mohammed.
Was incitement.
The cause of the riot in Benghazi.
Of course it was. That's John Brennan.
Mm-hmm. And we need to find, somebody write this down in our investigation, what the Nassau County Human Rights Commission said. Be very interesting with 6 Muslims on the commission. If they put out a statement on innocence of Mohammed, Nassau County, if somebody could check that out, Nassau County Human Rights Commission, ampersand, innocence of Mohammed. That'd be interesting. My guess is there's going to be something there. But for our public investigation right now, folks, all we're doing is connecting dots that are actually pretty simple to find once you start digging a little bit, and then you'll find something here that leads to A, leads to B, leads to C. We see this nice connection between the Organization of Islamic Cooperation, the United Nations, the Human Rights Commission in Saudi Arabia, and the Islamic Center of Long Island, with now President-elect Habeeb Ahmed. And what is he trying to do? He's trying to make sure one of America's foremost critics of Islam, Pamela Geller, and her partner speaking, Mr. Buckley, do not have a chance to criticize Islam if that's what they were going to be doing on the 14th of April at the Great Neck Synagogue. So the Human Rights Commission, with all of its flowery language about equality and humanity and justice for all, doesn't want a damn Jewish lady speaking at a Jewish synagogue. What is, if that's not the height, it should be a law against that. A law of stupidity. That's not the height of hypocrisy, but that's what we're used to dealing with Muslim jihadis.
Can I ask a question? The OIC, they typically vote similar to the United States, or typically against the United States?
Oh, they're the best friend the United States never had.
Okay, never mind. So I wasn't even going to ask the second part of that question.
No, they are. It's 56 Muslim nations, most of which hate us. You know, some like Saudi Arabia say, "Oh, we're your friend," but they really hate us. And they vote as a bloc, and they always vote against the United States, against Israel.
The Jews?
Yes, they hate the Jews. All righty, folks. We're trucking along at 37 minutes past 5 o'clock. Tom Trento here on WNN 1470, broadcasting 50,000 watts. 50,000 watts? Watts?
What?
What'd you say? 50,000 watts.
That would take all 3 hours.
Yes, 50,000 watts from North Miami all the way up to Orlando. And we're repeated at night once in a while. You can check that out. You can listen to us on iHeartRadio. Download that application, iHeartRadio.com. Search. You got to put your name in, a couple other little things. Then search in South Florida for WNN. 3 letters. WNN. Push the button. Then at 3 o'clock to 6 o'clock, we will enter your brain and change it forever. But 1 week from today, we'll only be with you 1 hour a day. But it will be a very unique,
jam-packed hour. Yes.
Yeah, very unique television show with a lot of video. Again, for our listening and driving audience, you will be able to follow everything. It's like going to a great restaurant and eating a wonderful steak. You'll enjoy it. But if you're watching it, you also get a great dessert too. Okay, it's going to be like that. So, but it'll be very easy for you. And in fact, here's what we would recommend. When you're driving and listening, go home at night, go to our archive. We'll put it all up on TrentoVision.tv. And then watch the show you partially listened to while you were blowing your horn, screaming at the New York drivers. Because we know how that works here in South Florida. So right now, we're going to continue with our investigation into Mr. Habeeb and his buddies. And we are right here, Mike, if you can come to my screen. All right.
That one?
Primary subjects, we looked at Mr. Habeeb Ahmed, his involvement with the Islamic Center of Long Island. The fact that the Islamic Center of Long Island is connected at the hip to the Interfaith Alliance, and that Mr. Habeeb also sits on the Nassau County Human Rights Commission. We saw that the Islamic Center of Long Island is connected almost organizationally with the OIC, the Organization of Islamic Cooperation.
Connected?
Yeah,
what are you talking about, Dom?
They're
linked at the hip.
Tentacle.
They're linked at the
It's a
hip.
little tentacle.
And through all of that, Mr. Habeeb is, and he's very good. You got to read the emails. He's a very good influence agent. He uses rhetorical devices. Friends, should we do this or should we wait to do that? Brothers and sisters, how about this? You know, all that kind of flowery language to people that are just useful idiots. And now we go to the lady, the Iron Lady here, another primary subject, Miss Claire DeRoche. And we're gonna camp on Claire for a bit. And jumping ahead, if you're looking at the screen, Mike, can I have it up on the screen here? We were here with Mr. Habeeb. Our next subject is Claire DeRoche.
Bring on the burqa.
She's the Unitarian.
Then we're going to go to the Islamic Center of Long Island in detail, show you some pretty funky stuff. From there, we're going to the Interfaith Alliance of Long Island. That's another organization listed in the email chain of the 13 conspirators against Pamela Geller. We're going to review some of the interfaith minutes that we got our hands on over the past couple of years of the Interfaith Alliance. Then we're going to the Unitarian Universalists for Justice in the Middle East.
Oh, very good organization.
Oh, man.
Oh, they are very
You're
productive.
not going to believe what you're going to find, what we're going to show you that we found.
They are the one non-Muslim organization I love.
This is just two of the people and a couple of the organizations. We have another 11 people to go through in our investigation. We're not going to do all of it on the air. We're just launching this today. We'll do the investigation, and then at the end of the investigation, probably just before Pamela Geller speaks at the synagogue on the 14th, we'll give you the results of our investigation. But let's now go to Miss Claire DeRoche. Investigate, devastate. That's our job. Can we say that any subtler? That's pretty subtle, isn't it? Investigate, devastate. When you're at war, why investigate and
do nothing?
Make friends. Investigate and do nothing. Investigate and be a nice guy.
Well, they devastate themselves, Tom. I mean, the investigation and the exposure just devastates them because they have. It's so clear. What I mean, you don't have to be a rocket scientist to figure this stuff out. All you have to be is a low information voter not to believe it.
Hey, you're using shock and awe instead of shock and awe shucks.
That's right.
Well, and the part of the hypothesis is that these are evil people.
Yeah.
These are evil people with bad intentions, doing bad things, and we're good people with good intentions trying to do the right thing.
I think you have that reversed, no?
That's the Weltanschauung. That's the battle of worldviews. We could be the bad guys in reality, and they could be the good guys. But that's for you, the listeners and viewers, to figure out.
Let's look at Claire here.
Claire DeRoche. Let's go to uucsr.org.
The Unitarian Universalist of...
Congregation of Shelter Rock.
Which is the Long Island UU.
No, this is their church.
Yeah.
Okay? Yeah, this is their church. And now what we're going to show you here is we're going to connect Claire because what is your name when you're not Mohammed?
I'm Damon.
Oh, you're Damon. Okay. Damon, you put some of this together. And Claire's email has UUCSR, correct?
Correcto.
So Claire is an official part of the Unitarian Universalist congregation at Shelter Rock.
Absolutely. In fact, she's the social justice.
Okay, if I look down on the left-hand side of the email, of the screen here, I'm going to make it bigger. Over there, as you look down, newcomers, all of that. You know, I should tell you a little bit about Unitarian Universalism. Let's do that. You know, some of you guys know that I have a theological background.
Here it
But
comes.
CJ, what does it matter?
No, he's coming after me
this
now.
Isn't you, is it? You're not.
He's not a you. He's just a big you.
I'm just a big you. Just a big you.
Which one are you? The first one or the second
Unitarian.
one? Oh, just the first one. Okay.
Right.
These are the ones who fell away from the faith. What we believe.
Yeah.
Okay. Unitarian. Now, what's beautiful about this, and here we're switching, ladies and gentlemen, from a national security. We're doing national security. When somebody tries to stop criticism of Islam, and we hold that Islam is a dangerous ideology, destructive historically to any country it's been in, destructive right now in Syria. We have Islam fighting Islam, Shia fighting Sunni. What does any other religion have to do with that? They're slicing each other's throats because they disagree about how authority was handed down from the prophet. This happened 1,400 years ago, and it continues. The only reason they stop if there's a Jew close by or a Christian close by.
Kill him first.
Right? So we believe that Islam is a deadly ideology, and we're making the distinction between a human being, a Muslim, who may be a wonderful person caught up in Islam, and wants to get out of Sharia-compliant Islam and just be a make-believe Muslim of some sort. Who cares? It's America. They can do whatever they want. But we're critiquing the ideology of Sharia-compliant Islam, of Islam. We're saying it's deadly and dangerous to Americans, to human beings, to human nature, to the Constitution. Doctrinally, we're experts on doctrine. So when we come to people that are pushing a pro-Sharia agenda to the extent of having a sociological impact on a given day, 14 April, to stop someone from exercising their First Amendment, we look at where Mark and I and Mike have been. We look at Europe and see what's happened in Europe when rights have been lost and Islam dominates. And you can't go to parts of the country, and we say, we're too smart. We know too much. We've been to too many places to sit by quietly and watch that unfold here in the United States. So when we look at the useful idiots that are some of the 13 in this conspiracy, we go to their doctrine and see what they believe, critique their doctrine, and show you why they believe what they believe and why they're hooked up with the Muslims. Now go back to my screen.
And this is according to this church.
Unitarian. This is the Unitarian Universalist congregation.
Their
in Shelter.
interpretation of what.
How do you
what
disassociate yourself?
Yes, I totally disassociate.
We
myself.
stipulate you're disassociated, and you have nothing to do
with these knuckleheads.
Right.
Like the radio intros, the
yes.
messages.
Tom Trento,
opinions expressed on this now have absolutely nothing to do
with anything anybody believes in. Newcomers, what we believe. You want me to read this in my Unitarian voice?
Go ahead.
Is it the same thing as the NPR voice?
Yeah, very close. Unitarian Universalism is a liberal religion born of the Jewish and Christian traditions. We keep our minds open to the religious questions people have struggled with in all times and places. We believe that personal experience, conscience, and reason should be the final authorities in religion. In the end, religious authority lies not in a book, a person, or an institution, but in ourselves. How do these people coexist with Islam? We put religious insights to the test of our hearts and minds. We uphold the free search for truth. We will not be bound by a statement of belief. We do not ask anyone to subscribe to a creed. We say ours is a non-creedal religion. Ours is a free faith. This is
I tell you what, these guys are just so full of nonsense.
Why would they call themselves a church or a religion at this point?
The problem is they don't ascribe to a religion or a belief or a God. What they ascribe to is government, big government, some type of kumbaya-ness, which can never exist. And even when they're talking about, we don't ascribe to a creed or religion, they're linking up with an organization that is
exactly.
100% religious, doctrinally driven. I mean, especially these guys who are linked directly to the OIC, who say Sharia law.
To get back to what you said before about the hardcore Islamists, and I know you don't like that term, but the hardcore Islamists hooking up with the hardcore left. I mean, could you imagine the conversations Habeeb and Farouk Khan have with each other after they get out of these interfaith meetings?
These knuckleheads.
If we were able to drink Farouk, we would be drinking right now, celebrating.
Could you imagine how stupid they think these people are?
Oh, yeah. They think they're complete, total morons. I know
and they're all daffy women like this Claire
And they're all daffy.
And we have our Bob Nassau.
No, they're daffy guys. Listen to this next paragraph. And I'm reading, folks, from What We Believe, Unitarian Universalism. And they say, now, logically, figure out how somebody like this can work with Muslims who live their life by creed, by doctrine, by rule, by obligation, by tradition. These people say, we affirm the worth of all women and men. We believe people should be encouraged to think for themselves. We know people differ in their opinions, choices, and affections, and we believe these differences generally should be honored, except on April 14th when Pamela Geller is going to share her own opinions, choices, and affections. We seek to act as a moral force in the world.
A moral force. A moral force. Give me a break.
You said immoral, right?
Moral.
Oh, moral.
Moral is a categorical term that has weight to it where it distinguishes between good and bad.
Evil.
Now, he was a quarterback for the Dolphins on the under-15 team. You've got this all wrong.
So they're contradicting their own belief system by saying we seek to act as a moral force in the world. I would say, and you would say to them, okay, well, of what is the good in the world and what is the evil? Well, the evil is this. Well, how could you believe that when you say everyone's entitled to their own opinion up here? Okay, yeah. Shut up, you hater! That's what they do. Then here and now and the effects, the here and now and the effects of our actions will have on future generations deeply concern us. We know that our relationship, we got to do a Saturday Night Live sketch on this. We know that our relationships with one another, with diverse peoples, races, and nations should be governed by justice, equality, and compassion. You're not allowed to say that four-letter word that starts with S.
But we don't. We won't talk about justice, equality, and passion when it comes to Islam because we're not allowed to say Islam because even though they're stoning women over there, they're killing gays, they're repressing women the right to even drive a car or even wear what they want to wear, and also banning all media and all other forms of expression by artists, by everybody else. We're not going to say anything about that. We're going to prevent someone that's going to come to a synagogue who wants to talk about that stuff from actually speaking.
The Jews.
All right, but so we gave you a little overview on Unitarian Universalists, and they weigh very heavily in the conspiracy against Pamela. Now, Damon, get me from here to DeRoche, Claire DeRoche's involvement. Your link. Oh, I found it. Did I find it?
Go to More About on the right-hand side if you go from where you were reading.
I go from where I'm reading, which was about Unitarian. You've got about a minute.
Yeah, go just over to the right.
More About Unitarian?
More About.
All right, go to More About. This is the way you got to find these things, folks.
Go to your upper right-hand corner for references.
I'm on a website now, Unitarian Universalist Association of Congregations. I'm going to the directory. And I go down to related organizations.
Yep.
Related organizations.
And then international.
And then I hit international. This is like 6 layers deep. And
But
then
it is still Unitarian Universalist.
oh yeah, and then I go to UUJME.
I loved it.
Bingo! Unitarian Universalists for Justice
in the Middle East.
And you're not going to believe what we found here. So we just made a connection between Claire DeRoche as a official
On their own website.
As an official of the Unitarian Universalist Church at Shelter Rock, and then tracked through their websites, and we wound up at the Unitarian Universalists for Justice in the Middle East, one of their operations. And on the page, here's a book by Rashid Khalidi, who was the chair of Islam and the representative for the PLO at Columbia University. And we will have to do this tomorrow and dig in.
So good.
Well,
We got a couple of minutes. Yeah, I mean, I want to end with something for Passover here, so we're going to have to end now. But we just landed in the Motherlode, okay? We just landed in a beautiful place to show you the relationships of the Pamela Geller conspirators, all 13 of them, and how some of them in there are related to the Hamas, as you're going to see.
Tom, can you go to recommended resources over on the left-hand side there on the UUJME?
Recommended resources.
Yeah, can you click on that?
Yeah, I'm there.
Net one.
And hit the internet or websites. And you want to see a list of some of...
Oh, boy! Uh-oh, look at this.
You want to see a list of trash?
The Palestinian Right to Return Coalition, Electronic Intifada, Friends of Freedom and Justice, Gaza Community Mental Health Program, Palestinian Online Store.
Go down to even the Jewish organizations.
J Street, Rabbis for Human Rights.
Thank you.
There we go.
Jewish Voice for
Peace. Okay, we hit the Motherlode. Palestinian Center for Human Rights, Palestinian Agricultural Relief Committee, Palestine Remembered.
Interfaith.
Unbelievable.
Interfaith.
Thank you, Richard Tibbetts, for laying all of this out for us, and
thanks for putting it online for everybody.
Yeah,
to see.
thanks for getting it to us. We appreciate
and organize it very clearly for us to see.
And tomorrow we will continue with our investigation, but right now we'd like to leave all of our Muslim friends with a wonderful Passover message from the Israeli Defense Forces.
So let me hear you say that I'm a criminal of war. Come on, little punk, that's what you came here for. Take a photo, you can stage it if it's necessary. Should I make an expression that is really scary? Bigger than you, we're here and disappeared. Neither mentioned smarter, but that's no big deal. So deceived and naive, whatever you achieve, as much as you lie, you're dust on my sleeve. For 4,000 years this country's been mine. That's before your great-grandmother wore diapers and wine. Open a book, it's not a big mystery, though I'm sure you failed the test in history. When force is not an option, you refer to scam. But frankly, you buck, I don't give a damn of your ignorant opinion or what you think about me. I'm an Israeli soldier, proud to be. אני חי מיום ליום, לא הולך לשום מקום. יום עובר ועוד יום בא, ושום דבר לא השתנה. השעון לא נעצר, עוד מעט יבוא מחר. רק המנגינה חוזרת, אין לי ארץ אחרת. Let me tell you what I condemn, the 10 plagues. I think Moses should be brought to their Hague. Let my people go, declaration full of vanity, boils and hell. Now that's a crime against humanity. The name of this place, Judea, rings a bell. Shut down your camera and operate your cells. 2 + 2, I know it's hard for you to beat, so exaggerate, manipulate, I don't give up. Shift now back to Samaria, which you call the PA, the place of King David, all the prophets, and hey, Jesus was here. But I hate to break it to you, I heard an awful rumor, they say he was a Jew. So don't let me interrupt you, do the job for what you hired. With your organizations, you really got me tired. The bottom line is, though it's painful to see, I'm an Israeli soldier, proud to be. אני חי מיום ליום, לא הולך לשום מקום. יום עובר ועוד יום בא ושום דבר לא השתנה השעון לא נעצר עוד מעט יבוא מחר רק המנגינה חוזרת אין לי ארץ אחרת I ain't gonna move this time, no use I've taken enough of your twists and abuse Every time you come in different forms and disguise Purity of race, human rights, all your lies So ride bike inside with me it's fine Do your little job, I'll keep doing mine From the mountains of Galilee, from desert to sea I'm an Israeli soldier, proud to be אני חי מיום ליום לא הולך לשום מקום יום עובר ועוד יום בא ושום דבר לא השתנה השעון לא נעצר עוד מעט יבוא מחר רק המנגינה חוזרת אין לי ארץ אחרת